Hello, everybody. Good evening on election night 2022 here for the midterm elections. I'm Nick Picht with Wave News. We are in the Wave Now studio monitoring everything here. It's going to be a good night. We're going to watch the results come in together. We're going to be live here from 8 to 11 p.m. So welcome in to everybody who's watching across the digital platforms. We're here on wave3.com. We are here on Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube as well. So welcome in, Wave Country. It's good to be with you tonight. And let's get this thing started, shall we? Monitoring a lot of races tonight, but let's start with some of the things that have already happened, right? The polls closed at 6 o'clock, so we've now had about 2 hours to get the results to start flowing in. And in a lot of places, they have already started flowing in. And in one place in particular, we already have a result. So what we're going to do is go right over to the election board, and the one race that has been called already, and you see it here as we go full screen, is the Senate race. Rand Paul has won re-election against Charles Booker, and that race was called pretty quickly. That was called at around 7:20 this evening, so about an hour and 20 minutes after the polls closed in Kentucky. We are keeping tabs on a possible victory speech for Senator Paul, reelected to his third term. I'm keeping eyes on that. But first, I want to go to Wave News reporter Brandon Spencer. He is at, as we bring him in on the double box here, he is at Charles Booker's camp. You've been there for a while now, Brandon. And the one thing that I've marveled at, actually, as I've been keeping tabs on everything and with you, is just how lively that place has been, even though so many people knew that that was going to be an uphill battle for them to climb.
Yeah, for sure, Nick. And, I mean, you can still feel the energy. It's still weirdly optimistic. I'm not sure if that's the word you use right now, but there's still a good energy in here right now. You can see people still standing around, looking, talking to each other, drinking, eating food, just having a good time. As you mentioned, it was an uphill battle, but a lot of people were very optimistic. They had a lot of high hopes for what this election might bring. Unfortunately, Charles Booker did fall short. I actually have somebody here who has been a part of this party tonight. We're going to be talking to him about why he... Let's talk this real quick. What is the energy right now in this room? Even though everybody knows what the result is, what is the energy that you're feeling right now?
So it's very celebratory right now, coming in support of Charles Booker and what his campaign meant from the city of Louisville and what it means as a black man in the state of Kentucky. From the hood to holler is a campaign that speaks from rural to urban. And I can relate to that and what he was trying to do to bring those two communities together. And so everybody's here to celebrate him and what he meant, his run, to support him. He did a great, amazing race against Senator Rand Paul. I will always support Charles Booker and what he means, and I will follow that he will ever run because of the things that he stands for and the energy that he brings to an election.
Why do you think there's still so much positivity in here right now? I mean, I was just mentioning that everybody's still talking, enjoying the music, eating food, having great drinks. Why do you think there's still so much positivity here right now?
Because the character of Charles Booker and what he stands for, what he exemplifies, being a young man in America, running for an elected office, and the presence that he brings and the things that he exudes, that's a great, phenomenal thing. And everybody's here championing him, celebrating him on this grand occasion. He might have been pulled out the election, but he still provided a great, solid message for people to really believe in him.
For sure. Last question for you. We are expecting him to come out this year shortly. As you mentioned, it's a celebratory event, even though he took the loss. Because it's celebratory, do you think when he comes back, people are going to wrap their arms around him and just kind of cheer him on as he gets
Of course they're going to show him love, to show him what he meant, to congratulate him, to encourage him, don't give up. And we're going to all be here to stand for him and cheer on him and say, hey, Charles, you ran a great, successful race in our eyes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Nick, man, just like that, you can see people have that positive energy. People are still looking forward to seeing Charles whenever he does get here and speaks to the crowd. But for right now, people are still going to take this moment and take it all in. As yes, he went through an uphill battle, but he fought hard, and the crowd is here for him to take everything in.
Yeah, Brendan, I want to just say something really quickly to you before I let you go, and I just wanted to ask you if you had a chance to either see Charles Booker or know when he's coming to the podium at all.
I've been talking to some of his campaign, and they said he still is expected to be here. The timing, we are still not sure yet, but he is expected to be here tonight. And when he does, we'll be sure to let you guys know so we can take a full look in on what he has to say.
Okay, Brandon Spencer with us. Brandon, I appreciate you. We're going to let you go and take a look back in these election boards really quickly, just so we can make the transition here. That is the board we're looking at. And this race, again, was called around 20 after 7, an hour and 20 minutes after the polls were closed. So we are monitoring that. We're also monitoring the Senate race in Indiana. You can see that right now on your screen. You can see that Todd Young in Indiana has a bit of a lead. That is with 18% reporting. As we leave that board up, I want to just take a look again. We are monitoring and waiting to see if and when Rand Paul will be getting us a victory speech. It does not appear as if he's talking yet, but when that happens, we will bring that to you. But of course, the biggest race of the night in Louisville proper is going to be the race for Louisville's mayor, right? Louisville has not had a Republican mayor since 1969. Craig Greenberg is trying to keep that alive. Bill Dieruf, of course, trying to change all of that. So as we take a look at the board here, this is what things look like as it stands. And this hasn't really changed much in about an hour or so. That has been left at 12% reporting for quite some time. But we did get a chance to talk to the candidates today. We did get a chance to talk to Bill Dieruf. We did get a chance to talk to Craig Greenberg. And I am going to play just a little bit of video here from the two candidates. You can see there's Greenberg going in with his family to vote. He talked about being very proud of his son today, that his son, as you can see it there, getting a chance to vote in a general election for the very first time. So for him, that was very neat to see and to be there for. And switching things over to Bill Dieruf, there is his shot going to vote. And we are still waiting for a lot of these results to come in. Bill Dieruf talked about, really trying to change the path of Louisville, wanting to be a mayor for all of Louisville. And he talked about, not being the strictest Republican. And he knows that Jefferson County is a majority of a Democratic county. So he did talk a lot about that. And we have reporters that are with both Dieruf and Greenberg, and I'm just checking to make sure that they are there. We have Natalia Martinez with us from Dieruf's camp. Natalia, I don't know if you can hear me, but I want to bring you in here. And I just wanted to ask you, as you get a vibe for tonight, you obviously talked to Bill Dieruf about not being favored and his mentality coming in. So I just want to know if you could speak to us that a little bit. I know you got somebody to your right. I don't know who it is, but.
Yes. Right, yes, I can hear you. Yes, there's lots of people here, of course. Lots of support for what people are talking about change. A lot of them have told me that they associated Greg Fisher. And, for a lot of people, the last 10 years since Fisher took office in 2011, it hasn't really been the results that they've wanted to see in terms of violent crime is one of the main things that people are concerned about. And it's something that Bill Dieruf kind of piggybacked his campaign on violent crime, reducing the number of shootings, reducing the number of homicides. And that's something that was a big focus of his campaign. He's been campaigning along with the current Jeffersontown chief, Rick Sanders. He's been in J-Town for about 10 years. Prior to that, he was the commissioner of Kentucky State Police. And he was even third in command of the DEA in Washington, D.C. He's very well respected among the law enforcement community. And so Dieruf was planning to bring him along if in case he does win tonight. It's still close. I'm actually chatting with someone who's at the Greenberg camp, and I'm like, how is Craig doing? And he said, we're nervous, but holding on tight. It's a lot closer than some expected. And he's like, well, how's Bill? And I said, well, I just talked to him earlier today, and he told me he's anxious. For the last 2 campaigns that he's run for the city of J-Town, he ran unopposed. And he's been the mayor of Jeffersontown since 2010. Prior to that, he was on the Jeffersontown Metro Council. So both camps very nervous about tonight, Nick.
Right. And you've been there now, what, a couple of hours, and nervous is probably a good way to put it. But also, is he positive? Is he staying upbeat through this whole thing?
He is. I mean, there's obviously this party here. It was put on by the Jefferson County Republican Party.
Right.
This isn't Bill Dieruf's party, but because he's nonpartisan. People in his own camp at Jeffersontown are both Republicans and Democrats. He tried to establish himself as not a staunch Republican, but someone who is more moderate and who listens to both sides. That's a lot of what he's talked about. So there are a lot of the main Republican players in the city here tonight, and it seems jovial. I mean, the music is still going, the drinks are flowing, you hear a lot of laughter. And I think, though, as the night goes on, we're going to start seeing a change, and I don't know if that's going to be jovial or not yet. We're still kind of waiting to see what happens.
Have you spoken to Bill Dieruf? What about when he is going to address the crowd at all tonight? Has he said anything to you about that?
It all depends on when the results started coming in. He is going to address the crowd at some point. The party started at 6 o'clock. He told me he was going to be here between 6 and 7. He did. He came. There's a lot of people that are staying at the hotel, so lots of networking going on here tonight as well. But for the most part, I have seen him still interacting with the crowd, people taking pictures. I could tell, though, that it is a little nerve-wracking.
For sure.
It's a huge deal as part of his career, so you could kind of see that in his demeanor.
I'm sure you can. Natalia, I appreciate your time. We'll check back with you a little bit later, but I think we do have Rand Paul, so I do want to take Senator Paul. I want to make sure that we can get to him here, just as I am going to put up the election board really quickly and just see if we can get to Senator Paul here. Just give me one moment.
Not given freedom, period. Our desire is not to rule over others, but to largely leave people alone. It is this system of constitutional checks on power that has allowed America to become the freest nation ever known. With freedom has come great prosperity, but we do not choose freedom because it makes us rich. We choose freedom because it's a part of our very nature. America is not only the richest country in the world, but we are because we truly believe we are our brother's keeper. It is my hope that as our nation moves forward, the anger, the vitriol, and even the death threats will abate. Surely there is common cause in the concept that a limited constitutional government allows people from all walks of life to live peacefully together as long as they don't commit aggression against others. Surely the concept of local rule can allow cities and states to express their social mores in a varied fashion. The genius of federalism is that while we are bound together as one nation, we are still free to express ourselves and our significant differences state by state and city by city. Liberty, or the absence of government intrusion, should allow people of widely differing beliefs to live together, each according to their own beliefs. To preserve this liberty, we must especially defend the freedoms that our founding fathers thought important enough to put right up front in the Bill of Rights. The freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, the freedom to associate with whomever we please. While the First Amendment doesn't prohibit private censorship, our founding fathers did prize free speech. One can only imagine our founders' reaction to the government actively engaged with private enterprise to censor speech. To protect free speech, Congress must, absolutely must, prohibit government collusion with big tech. If America cares enough about protecting free speech, Americans should reject, and if need be, boycott companies that censor our speech. Truth, whether it be scientific or political, can only be determined by disputation, by argumentation, by convincing others, by voluntary acceptance. But the greatest originator of misinformation is the U.S. government. The greatest disseminator of misinformation cannot be the arbiter of truth. Both left and right need to wake up and acknowledge the government should never be allowed to create any entity that even remotely resembles a ministry of truth. And no bureaucrat, are you listening, Dr. Fauci? No bureaucrat should be above the law. No bureaucrat should be allowed to deny information to Congress, and no bureaucrat should be allowed to lie to Congress. When I return to the Senate as chairman, I promise you this, the COVID cover-up will end. And I promise you this, I will subpoena every last ballot paper from Congress. At least 6 million people died worldwide from COVID, and Congress has not had one hearing into the origins of the virus. As chairman, I will not only hold Dr. Fauci accountable, we will finally investigate why your tax dollars were sent to fund dangerous research in Wuhan, and we will make sure it never happens again. Tonight, in this hour of victory, let us make common cause with our adversaries, to agree to disagree, to reject and respect our differences and leave the anger behind. Tonight, as America chooses a new path, it is imperative that everyone understands that minimal constitutional government allows maximum freedom. Yeah! Liberty should bring people together because each and every citizen is left alone to enjoy their own personal freedoms. Liberty is that great harmonizer that allows us to live together despite our differences. So as we savor our victory, let us remember that tonight is really a victory for everyone who holds dear and cherishes their God-given liberty, the liberty that makes America that shining beacon of hope to the entire world. Thank you.
Okay, you are seeing Senator Rand Paul finish up his victory speech. Before we go to break, we have to go to an 8:25 cut-in on Wave. Before we do that, I'm going to go to Charles Booker for his concession speech. We'll go to it right now.
My wife was the first person to tell me to run this race. If you know Tanisha for 5 minutes, you know she does not like politics. I mean, y'all saying more than y'all have to say. they like at all. But to have someone to sacrifice, you put your spirit on the line. Yes, ma'am. You have worked hard so that I can go out into the world and pursue my ministry. You've given me the room to do what I believe God has called me to do. And I will never be able to thank you enough for being my partner through all of this. And wherever God has for us in the future, as long as you hold my hand, we're going to be all right. So look, y'all know me. I'm never gonna miss a moment to tell the people I care about I love them. I love y'all. We're gonna keep watching these results come in. I need y'all to know we already won. We already won. I need all the news outlets to take that down. We already won. Our victory is that people have stood up across Kentucky that had given up. People that once thought that their voice didn't matter are now lifting their voices and organizing and running for office. We are the change, and that's the win. From the hood to the holler is about regular people standing. And we have taken that stand. That's the victory, Kentucky, and we got a lot more work to do. So as we go into the night, y'all continue to watch the numbers come in. And look, they've already called it because of the reason I've told you. And if that ends up being the final result, just know I ain't never quitting. So we gonna make noise for the Commonwealth of Kentucky right now. If you believe Kentucky is worth fighting for, let me hear you make some noise. That's right. If you believe our lives are worth fighting for, make some noise. This is the Kentucky I know. All right, y'all, I'm gonna hug on some of y'all. I'm gonna try to hug everybody, but it's a lot of y'all. And then we're gonna keep watching these results come in, and we're gonna keep the work going. All right, y'all, thank y'all for all your support. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for organizing. Thank you for believing by my side.
It breaks my heart.
Okay. Hearing Charles Booker give a big thank you to his family, to the people who have supported him through this race, coming up short today against Rand Paul, that race being declared already. But both candidates, as we sit and kind of digest here, we just have a minute before we do go to our wave cut in on television as we cut in on TV, just both candidates talking about sticking to their principles, sticking to the things that they hold dear to them, as we continue to take a look at Booker at his watch party now. The time is 8:25, just about. We got about 15 seconds here before we change over for a couple of minutes for a Wave TV cut-in. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop right now. If you stay on the stream, you will watch, you can see Wave, but we're going to go to the TV side of things. When we come back, we have reporters across the area. We're going to hit them. We're going to check in on some of the races as well. This is Election Night 2022 here in the Wave Now studio. We will be back in just a couple of minutes.
Covering the races that impact you. This is Wave News Decision 2022.
Well, good evening. It is crunch time here. Votes continuing to pour in. Wave News keeping you up to date tonight.
And one of the biggest races that we are following in Jefferson County is the mayoral race for Louisville. Let's take a look at where things are right now. Craig Greenberg there, the Democrat, with 22,750 votes, 57% of the votes there, against William Dieruf, the Republican candidate, 16,632, 42,000. But this race has not been called just yet.
No, it's only 12% of the vote. And really, Myra, that number has not moved in quite a while. So we expect another big dump of results coming up here. Rand Paul's already been declared the winner tonight for Kentucky's U.S. Senate seat. Paul said during his campaign that he supports the sanctity of life and he doesn't see a Congress that would bring abortion laws back. Paul also does not support the Inflation Reduction Act that's already been passed by Congress. He just wrapped up his victory speech in Bowling Green. We'll bring some of that to you here coming up. Kentucky U.S. House District 3, CNN already called this race for Morgan McGarvey. You can see why. He was running there at 2/3 of the vote when they called it.
And Kentucky House District 2, let's take a look. The votes that are in, about 11%. Brett Guthrie, the Republican incumbent, 29,000. That just changed, 695 votes. That's 70% of the votes against Democrat Hank Linderman, 12,708. Again, Brett Guthrie there with the majority of the votes coming in right now with 14%.
Okay, let's get to the all-important constitutional amendments. Amendment 1. Was that not the longest thing you've ever read on a ballot?
I compared it to my Costco receipt, how long the wording was.
Okay. This is on can the lawmakers call themselves into session? And you see what it's running here right now. The no's outnumbering the yes. 202,000 votes to 153. That's a 57% to 43% margin.
And John, this is another huge one. Kentucky Amendment 2. You can see this is the no right to abortion with an estimated 25% of the votes in, but a majority of folks right now voting no. You can see those numbers there. So saying no to changing the Constitution to restrict abortion rights.
Let's get to Kentucky State House District 31. This was one of the ones that was really interesting in the news, at least. Sue Foster against Susan Tyler Whitten, because Sue Foster got Susan Tyler Whitten literally kicked off the ballot, and it took a last-second surge there with the Court of Appeals to get her back on. Susan Tyler Whitten said she doesn't want me on the ballot because she knows she's going to lose. Well, right now, Sue Foster is leading 53% to 47%.
All right, and let's take a look at Indiana State House District 66. And Zach Payne, the Republican, the incumbent, with 69% of the vote against Democrat Nancy McDevitt with 31% of the vote there.
Going to be a long night. Thank you for joining us. We'll take you back to NBC right now.
Okay, welcome back in to the Wave Now studio. We had to take a quick break for John and Myra to give us an update on the air. We are now on until about 8:55 or so. So that's when the next cut-in is. But we are following these races here. We're watching the results come in a little slower than maybe we anticipated. And we've already checked in with Natalia Martinez. She was at Bill Dieruf's campaign out at Henry Clay Entertainment Center. We checked in with Charles Booker's camp. We checked in with Rand Paul's camp in Bowling Green. Sound not great, but Rand Paul did give his acceptance, his victory speech. We're going to pull some sound from that, and we're going to show that to you so that way you can hear the sound a little bit better. That'll be nice. But right now, what I want to do is I want to get over to David Mattingly and Sean Bowdy, who are at the Democratic, I guess, campaign headquarters for tonight. Guys, it's good to see you. How is everything over there? Talk to me.
Let's just say the crowd is building right now, and they're coming in here expecting to have a victory celebration. This is for two campaigns here. This is for Craig Greenberg's campaign, his mayoral campaign, and for Morgan McGarvey running for Congress to fill that empty seat in Congress.
And there is a lot of excitement here. I mean, David, I have to lean in just to hear you talk in this room. I'm standing literally a foot from you, and I still have to lean in just to hear you.
Now, we have another camera here. Can you take that other camera and actually see the crowd right now? This room is filling up, and it is a big room here. You don't see anybody behind us where we're standing. They're all in the other portion of the room. Everybody pretty upbeat right now. Now, you've got two different kinds of races. You've got, first of all, let's talk about Morgan McGarvey. When he got the nomination on primary night, he got more votes on primary night than all of the Republican candidates combined.
Which obviously brought in a lot of confidence for them, especially when you look at the last 15 years in this office. Being a Democrat, it's something that's got to give you at least some level of confidence moving that, but it's nothing like the mayoral position that's been Democratic for over 5 decades.
Right, but this time we don't have an incumbent, a Democratic incumbent who is in office trying to reclaim that office. So this is a time we would expect to see a Republican candidate surge, really trying to go after votes that normally would go to a Democratic candidate. So we're waiting to see the larger picture with the results that are coming in. Right now, things are looking okay for Greenberg, but we still need more votes before we can really tell this story and figure out definitively where this race is going.
And things are looking even better, though, for McGarvey. We were initially told he was going to speak here around 8 o'clock, and we were told around 8:30. It's a fluid situation.
Yeah, you know how it goes on election night.
9 o'clock, maybe.
You don't want to come out too early, but you don't want to come out too late either. So there's definitely a little bit of a delicate area where you want to make a good decision, coming out at the right time with the right message.
And we did talk to both of these guys earlier today. Obviously, we're not calling any of these races right now, but both of them feeling pretty confident. Nick, I don't know if you've got sound that you can play from Morgan McGarvey, but when we caught up to him earlier, he felt pretty confident, but he's just ready for it to get over with.
Yeah, boys, let me play that sound for you right now real quick. We're going to play that now from McGarvey.
It's a sense today, it's nerves, it's excitement, but it's also, we feel good. We've done our best, and we're willing to accept what the voters say tonight.
So,
guys, he said
probably a sentiment.
Yeah, he said he feels.
It was
okay. I didn't know if you could hear him. Yeah, he said he feels good. He's ready to accept what happens.
What?
That's got to be a sentiment that's shared by Craig Greenberg, obviously, given the amount of, I guess, support you've seen from across the city or just in this room behind us here.
That is true. And judging by the diversity in the crowd, the number of people from different neighborhoods I've spoken to, Greenberg has made a point with his campaign to spend a lot of time in a lot of different parts of the Louisville Metro. That seems to be reflected in the crowd we're seeing exciting tonight. It's not just the traditional Democratic post-election crowd that I'm seeing. This is definitely a crowd that's gathered here to see something new happen.
And you talk about the level of excitement. They had that group come in through here, the Real Young Prodigies, and if you've never heard them before, if you were anywhere near about a mile radius of here, I'm sure you heard them. They were playing the Real Young Prodigies. They're a local rap group, all children, all youth advocates for the city, anti-violence advocates for the city. They were here. They were at the Booker camp too. I didn't hear them over here, but I bet you could hear them at the Booker camp from here.
And they had a very appreciative audience here when they did take the stage. But right now, that was just a warm-up. Everybody here waiting for the main act. Hold on.
And this sounds like something we might be interested in.
So I am here with just a quick but exciting update. I wanted to say with 100,000 votes in, our candidate, Craig Greenberg, has 55% of the vote.
I was expecting a race call here. I haven't gotten that yet.
Really great looking numbers in the 3rd congressional race. We expect an AP call soon. We are hopeful. And so we hope that we will be back here in just a few minutes with some really exciting official results. Until then, let's keep the energy going. I'm so grateful to you all for being here tonight. More from us soon.
Well,
boys, a little hard to hear on our end over here. So if you guys can just kind of give us an update. That was Councilwoman Cassie Chambers Armstrong. If you guys can just give us an update on what she had to say.
Right, two things. First, we got an update on the Greenberg campaign that he is doing well. There was a great deal of swelling of optimism here after the announcement we just heard. And then the second part of it was about Morgan McGarvey. We could be hearing from him very shortly with his race being called in his favor.
Yeah, Cassie Chambers Armstrong going up there saying they expect a call from AP shortly. Obviously, that means it hasn't been called yet, but things are looking pretty up for him.
Again, this is a strongly Democratic district that he is running in. It would be a much bigger story if he did not do well. He was very well liked in the district, and multiple times I spoke to him during the campaign, and he had the strategy, that time-honored strategy of running like he was 10 points behind. So he never got comfortable, and we saw that with the ads that he was running, with the money that he was spending, with the work that he was doing. He wasn't taking anything for granted. It may be paying off for him tonight very soon.
And I think that's something that it sounds like we really could hear very soon. Cassie Chambers Armstrong saying, I know they couldn't hear it there, so I'm just reiterating some of the stuff she was saying, that they expect to be up there even momentarily just to call this race.
She was doing everything except saying, wait for the victory speech. But that's what she was saying, that they're expecting that to come out very soon here. Earlier tonight, people were coming out saying, be prepared for a long night when they were talking about Greenberg. I mean, it's still too much up in the air. There's 110 precincts, and there's 110 fights that these two candidates for mayor, these two top candidates for mayor, have had to go to battle with. And they are watching every single one of those precincts coming in, making a judgment as the night goes on. So far, what the Greenberg campaign has been seeing, and what I'm hearing from them, is that it is positive, and they are looking forward to seeing continued success later tonight.
David, I wanted to ask you something really quickly, if I can. Specifically for you, David, I know that you've sat down with both Greenberg and Dieruf, and you did several stories on that. I just want to ask you what the biggest thing that stuck out to you was as you were talking to those two men and getting a chance to really know them before election night.
Well, a couple of things. One thing that really stuck out, as you said, in talking to both of these candidates is about how well prepared they were, about how they had their message clearly defined, and how they went about, with discipline, conducting their campaigns. They let voters know exactly where they stand, and they went through a lot of time to show those differences on those issues where they were having taken some very different positions. One being how to handle crime. Dieruf was talking about how he wants to go after the criminals, and Greenberg focused on times about how he wanted to go after the guns to make sure guns that are confiscated after crimes do not land in the hands of criminals again. So that was a very big division between those two candidates, but in the big picture, both of these candidates were for the same thing. They're for economic development. They're against crime. And both of them seem very well prepared, knowing what kind of city that they would be inheriting if they win tonight. This is a city with some very deep ongoing problems. It's going to be a very transformational time because of what the Justice Department is maybe doing with the LMPD. There might be some changes going on in terms of how the city handles economic development. But all this money coming in after the pandemic, all this federal money that's available for one-time only expenditures. It'll be interesting to see how either of them, whoever gets in office tonight, will decide to spend that money and change where the city is going.
And to kind of bounce off one of the things you said there.
Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, Nick. He mentioned that both kind of want a couple of the same things. You're not going to vote for anybody in any of these races that doesn't want to see Louisville succeed. That's obviously ultimately all of their goals. One of the things that I find interesting, David, about this race, you might kind of see it the same way. For the mayoral race, you've got a businessman running for the position, a politician running for a different position. And then on the other race we're covering here tonight, the congressional district, we've got a businessman running for a position in Congress and a politician running for a different position. Both of them flipping parties in those two different scenarios. It'll be interesting to see, and maybe in exit polls, if that was a factor for the people who made these votes.
Well, one of the things I love about election nights like this is all the speculation. Now, once those votes come in, and that's the really exciting thing about this process, the voters are speaking tonight, and once that message is coming in, that's into all these months of speculation that we've had, and we are at a crescendo right now for that speculation. Everybody has their own idea of how this is going to go tonight, but soon we will have concrete information and a true ending to this long campaign.
And they don't have to speculate anymore, guys. I don't mean to interrupt you, but the race has been.
I have a feeling this is what's coming here, Nick.
Yep.
Okay. We want to take a listen into this.
It's not just to get a closer look at me, I promise.
They're bringing the crowds in for this one. I assume what
This
you
is
just
sounding
told
like a
us is
victory
what they're
announcement.
about to tell the crowd here. I would be shocked if it's not the way they're gathering the crowds around here, Nick.
We can get the folks on our left to start coming this way.
You know what?
That would be good.
I'm going to hook here.
Don't be shy, folks. Keep moving up. I promise you'll be able to hear us better if you are closer to us. Don't be shy.
We can hear Councilwoman Chambers Armstrong pretty good from here, guys.
We still got lots of room up front, everybody.
Some more good?
You want to...
Okay, Nick, if you can hear me, this is David again. You're probably looking at the crowd right now. They are, people up on the stage are working really hard.
This is like that awkward part of the
larger part of the crowd that's in the back of the room to come up front. Anticipating a victory speech from Morgan McGarvey here.
I want to make sure that we thank the volunteers.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, David. We can hear you guys pretty good too. So we can hear pretty well what's going on over there.
They were up at 4 and 5 in the morning. So please give a big round of applause for our poll workers. And of course, we've got to give it up for the candidates. It is not an easy job to raise your hand and say, I'm going to run, I'm going to lead, I'm going to try and make a difference. And so that we know that we have had some races that we are really excited about the outcome. We've had some not so good outcomes. But the thing is that people being engaged in general, To me, in my opinion, that's a win. So one more round of applause, please.
And as we get close to having some very exciting news and hearing from some very exciting candidates tonight, again, I just want to note the great results that we're getting in. It looks like Amendments 1 and Amendments 2, we're getting great numbers on those. Give it up for all the great work from Protect Kentucky Access on Amendment 2. They've done incredible work. We're also getting some great results in our House districts here in Louisville and also the Northern Kentucky races, seeing some great numbers in our Metro Council races here. So please, let's give it up one more time for all of our candidates.
And now we just gonna chill for a minute, because that's what we do.
So, yeah, let's
Yeah.
Oh, hey everyone.
It looks like that our Congressman John Yarmuth has walked in the building.
Everyone give it up for Congressman John Yarmuth. I know he's gonna come up. So you're gonna introduce.
This is a good time to kind of move, bop a little bit. You can bop the stress off, bop all your hard work and dedication off. It's good. Somebody told me a long time ago that we won't get free if we can't dance together and sing together, so it's all right to dance a little bit.
Just jumping in here quickly to let you know that is Morgan McGarvey, who has been declared the winner tonight. Wanted to give you that update real quick. That's him in the crowd giving hugs, obviously thrilled at what's going on because the race has been called. He's been declared the winner. Imagining that we are going to hear from the new U.S. Congressman elect in the next couple of minutes here. But I'm going to kill my audio, cut it back to the event, and we'll see if we can catch some of the speech here.
Everybody. Thank you, Louisville. This is the 9th time I've stood with you on election night and opened a speech with those 3 words, thank you, Louisville. And I've meant it every time with every fiber of my being. You've shown up time and time again in all manner of conditions to fight for our values, our community, and our country. Of course, tonight is about me. And honestly, it never really was. A lot of my colleagues, especially after they've been in office for a while, they struggle with hard decisions, competing interests, competing values. All I ever had to do was listen to my community and Louisville, and you were not subtle. You demanded justice, you demanded equality, you demanded a government that stood for working people to get a leg up, not one that enriched the wealthy and the powerful. I've fought hard to deliver wins for your values. You deserve a congressman who will fight for you. You deserve a champion, and Louisville, you just elected one. All right, calm down, calm down. You really didn't think I'd go away that easily. I promise you'll get to hear from Morgan very soon. Look, the torch I passed today is very different from the one I took 16 years ago. We did a lot of good, truly life-changing stuff, and we found some new challenges. We expanded health care to more than 20 million Americans. Just enacted a landmark infrastructure bill, made the most significant investment in climate change in world history, and rescued our economy after Republicans oversaw the worst financial collapse since the Great Depression. Actually, we did that twice. We've also seen people of color, Black Americans in particular, reach heights that have been unfairly denied them for the entirety of the American experience. We've seen gains for the LGBTQ community that were unimaginable just a few years ago, and major advances for women in the workplace. In response to all of this progress, we've also seen a regrettable backlash, an alarming rise in overt bigotry, a new breed of hateful right-wing nut jobs, conning their way into elected office with hardly a peep from the Republican establishment. And here in Kentucky, we know why, don't we? Because our senior senator, their great neighbor, decided he was willing to trade American democracy for right-wing judges and millionaire tax cuts. Mitch admitted that Donald Trump is the greatest threat to American democracy, and then he pledged to support him if he's the nominee for president. Think about that. He'll support the greatest threat to democracy. What an absolute disgrace. Look, I don't know if things are going to roll out nationally tonight, but I know this. For all we've accomplished in the last 16 years, the challenges in the next few years will be unlike any we've ever seen. Our community needs a champion. Good news, Louisville is a city of champions. We're the home to the greatest champion of all time, Muhammad Ali. Our local university is home to 3 NCAA championships. Okay, NCAA, you can sue me on the 3rd, but that's all right. And today, Louisville elected a true champion to represent us in Congress. People know Morgan as a guy who can work with those on the other side, and that's with good reason. He's running the smallest minority imaginable. Spent 4 years with the worst governor in Kentucky history, and still somehow managed to get a whole lot of progress signed into law. So yeah, Morgan can play nice with the other side, and I'm not really sure how he does it. But I will tell you this, he never sacrifices his values. And if you're looking for a fighter, Louisville, you've got your guy. When it comes to your rights, to our marginalized communities and the working poor, to those who have heard stories about Americans building a better life for their children, but feel that dream is out of reach, Morgan will go to the mat for you every time. In the fight to save American democracy, Morgan knows the stakes. He knows what it will take, and he will never, ever back down. Louisville, serving our community the last 16 years has been the honor of my life. Thank you. But you have found your new champion, and today I could not be prouder to introduce my representative, our new Congressman, Morgan McGarvey. He's probably talking to the president right now. I don't know.
Woo! Oh. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know if I get this back in. Thank you, thank you. Woo! Thank you.
You are watching Morgan McGarvey's victory speech. I don't want to take too much time away from this, but I do have to give you a programming note. If you're watching on social media, Facebook, YouTube, etc., this is going to stay on. We're going to stick with the newly elected congressman. If you're watching on Wave, we are going to our cut-in now, our national cut-in, in a matter of 5 seconds here. So we're going to do that now. If you're watching on Facebook, you can stay on, of course.
There's Greta. First of all, I do want to note we haven't won every race we wanted to tonight. I want to commend my friend Charles Booker on a hard-fought campaign. Yep. And look, he campaigned hard. He made history in Kentucky. And while the votes didn't go our way in that race tonight, I believe we are truly all better off for his candidacy and his campaign. I also want to acknowledge my opponent, Stuart Ray. I just got off the phone with him. I can tell you, campaigns are tough. He ran a good race. Now that it's over, I truly look forward to representing everyone, whether you voted for me or not. To paraphrase the old spiritual, from Louisville to Frankfurt and now to Washington, I am glad to be in your service one more time. Ten years ago, we ran for the state senate. The twins had been home from the hospital a matter of months. The dry sink in our dining room had been repurposed to a changing table. And when the campaign started, we simply moved the diapers off the dining room table, and that became our campaign headquarters. The unfinished basement became our yard sign distribution center and factory. It would have been almost impossible to imagine a night like tonight. But our premise for running was as simple as our operation. That is, I'm going to go to Frankfurt. I'm going to stand up and fight for people. I'm going to stay true to our values while working to get stuff done. And that's exactly what I did. Despite serving in the super minority every single day I was in office, I was leading the fights on key Democratic issues, even being elected Democratic leader of the Senate when a guy named Matt Bevin was governor. But despite all that, I authored and passed 18 bills into law. And not just little stuff either. We passed the first health insurance mandate in 21 years. We passed laws protecting victims of human trafficking and domestic violence. I passed the first ever bill that solely benefits Louisville's historically black college and university, making sure that kids at Simmons College got access to Kentucky tuition grant money. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't always easy. But I have never accepted the notion that we can't do something. If we're willing to listen, if we are willing to work together, if we are willing to build consensus instead of finger pointing and name calling or spreading misinformation, there is no limit to what we can achieve. Last summer, we took the kids on vacation. We went to the beach. And in the ultimate dad nerd move of the century, I took him away from the pool to go to the Kennedy Space Center. It was awesome. And when we walked in, we went into the IMAX where they talk about the Shuttle Atlantis. The Shuttle Atlantis, I didn't realize, Shuttle Atlantis, this cool thing. Somebody came up with the radical notion, let's send a reusable space shuttle into space.
Welcome back to Wave Now Studio. We are covering Election Night 2022. Right now, you are watching newly elected U.S. Congressman Morgan McGarvey make his victory speech. Let's get back to it.
The plane's getting ready to land on the tarmac. The screen goes up, and there is the Shuttle Atlantis behind us. And I'm like, because to me, that's it. That's what our government can do. We can build a reusable space shuttle. We can put a man on the moon. We can work with private industry and speed up the distribution of a vaccine in 9 months that enabled all of us to get back to our daily lives. Because when the will of the American people and the weight of our government get behind a problem, we can solve it. And we have big problems to solve. We still must continue to help people lower costs, starting with prescription drugs. We can combat the immediate threat that is climate change. We must make sure that we as Kentuckians are at the forefront of this. We paid for the last energy revolution. We paid for it here. We led it and we paid for it. We paid for it with the majesty of our mountains and the lives of our miners. We should be at the forefront of the next energy revolution, creating good-paying green jobs right here in the energy center of the world. And our great governor, Andy Beshear, has done an amazing job on that front, bringing $7 billion in economic development and to make us the electric battery car manufacturing capital of the country. We need a federal partner to build on that success. We can end generational poverty. We can ease hunger. We can create more affordable housing. We can finally make much needed investments in education, starting with examining the decades-old model of education. Let's start with public preschool, and let's continue to invest in our higher education. We can address systemic inequities and racism head on and make sure that everyone has an equal chance at achieving the American dream. There are times when this might not seem possible. We are waiting to hear results from around the country tonight. But no matter what happens, I want us to think about our challenges differently. My friend Joni Jenkins reminded me recently that if we win tonight, our job is to keep fighting for people and make a better tomorrow. But if we lose tonight, our job is to keep fighting for people and make a better tomorrow. We don't get to vote for 435 members of Congress. We get to vote for one. And I promise to do my best to keep us moving in the right direction. The reality is, our American experiment has never been perfect. Our greatness comes from our continued willingness to work toward that more perfect union. I am so excited to begin this journey, but I wouldn't be able to do this without the help of so many who've been there for me along the way, many of whom are here tonight. I first of all have to thank my amazing staff and my amazing campaign team for all the work they've done over the last 13 months. They have run an amazing operation. I want to hear a big shout out for the men and women of organized labor for being our boots on the ground and creating the middle class here in this community and in this country. I've got to thank all of my family and friends, starting with my parents on the front row and everyone here, whether you put up a yard sign, whether you knocked on a door, whether you helped with the campaign, whether you even just watched the kids when we were busy, to all of you, thank you. I want to thank someone who's not here tonight. And for those of you who knew him, my friend David Hawk, while not physically present, is here tonight as well, and I thank him. I want to thank Congressman Awesome, John Yarmuth, for his incredible 16 years of service. And this is important. You guys remember about John Yarmuth. Yes, he's up here giving the speech. Yes, he gets the ovations. Yes, he's chairman of the House Budget Committee. But I want you to think back to this night 16 years ago. Nobody thought this was possible. In fact, John, I went back and I pulled the Cook Political Report's final update of the 2006 campaign. And here's what they said. November 6, 2006. Representative Ann Northup will win re-election over John Yarmuth. There are signs Northup is very worried about her re-election prospects. But Yarmuth isn't a much stronger candidate than the one Democrats fielded in 2004 when she convincingly won with 60% of the vote. We suspect Northup finds a way to win. John Yarmuth not only won that race, he set forth the blueprint of what it means to run as a Democrat in Jefferson County and Kentucky. They said he couldn't win, and they said he couldn't win because he'd been at the Leo. He'd written so many things. He'd championed so many wonderful causes. They said he can't win. He's written too much down of what he thinks. Well, let me tell you how his career ends. It ends with him writing the American Rescue Plan Act and the infrastructure bill that has put our country on the right direction. John, from the bottom of all of our hearts, thank you. And last, but certainly not least, I want to thank my family. The reality is you do not run for office alone. This campaign hasn't been short. It hasn't been easy. Since we've started running, the kids have actually become eligible for vaccines. They've changed grades. Greta had a tooth pulled because she busted it out. They've all learned the importance of yard signs and knocking on doors. And then there's Chris. I'll tell you, of all the speeches I've given, of all the parts I've written, this has been the hardest. It seems perfunctory to thank a spouse. There is nothing perfunctory about Chris, Dan, or McGarvey. We have been dating for 21 years. She is the love of my life. She makes me better in every way, whether she's challenging or praising, and mostly challenging. She is the breadwinner of our family. She does the invisible work that so few people get credit for, because she's the one who keeps track of the soccer schedule. She's the one who gets contacted for play dates. She's the one who's worried about whether the uniform's clean or the lunches are made. And she does it all without anybody seeing her sweat. She quite simply is the star that keeps the rest of us in orbit. And we couldn't do this without her. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for your support. And we look forward to being your representative in Washington. Thank you.
Sounding like you are hearing
the end of U.S. Congressman-elect Morgan McGarvey's victory speech. You see him there talking with the crowd. A very passionate Morgan McGarvey. We talk to Senator, now U.S. Congressman McGarvey, pretty often, and you don't hear him get as fired up and excited as he did tonight. So as we bring in David and Sean, guys, it's good to have you back. I know it's a little hard to hear. Just he comes off the stage there. What do you make of what McGarvey had to say?
Well, Morgan McGarvey winning a clear victory tonight, but he is taking on a job that...
Try this one, Dave.
Okay, how about this? All right.
Much better, much better. There you go.
Morgan McGarvey is about to become Kentucky's only congressman in Washington. John Yarmuth held that position, but likely with this election, Morgan McGarvey is going there after having been working in a minority in the Kentucky legislature surrounded by Republicans. One of the things about what he was saying during the campaign was that he still managed to get a lot of things done. Congress is going to be a different game. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of skills he can bring to that environment and what he might be able to get done.
And I also think it's safe to say that he wants to model a lot of what he wants to do after his successor, John Yarmuth. So that's something, or predecessor, whatever the word is. John Yarmuth is someone he looks up to, someone he wants to emulate when he gets into office, thanking him for everything he's been able to accomplish as chair of committees in Washington. He wants to bring that same level of commitment to the city of Louisville. The people who live here, wants to be the representative for all of Louisville, including the people who didn't vote for him. One thing he mentioned. And David, I don't know if you know this, but when he started thanking his wife, you could see around the room a lot of people wiping their eyes away with it.
It was a very eloquent moment, very touching when he was thanking his wife. He's going to count on her a lot for the next 2 years and through another election and possibly beyond after that if he continues in John Yarmuth's footsteps. But the environment he's going into right now, there's so much hand-wringing nationwide by Democrats about being able to hold on to Congress. This is one seat that everyone felt fairly certain about, and McGarvey definitely delivered by taking this seat fairly easily, in fact.
And he did talk to Stuart Ray. He told us he got off the phone with him just before he went on stage here, thanked him, said he ran a good race. But that's what led to him kind of talking about how he wants to be a representative for all people, and then talked, of course, about John Yarmuth as well. What I found interesting, too, was just how loud this place got when they announced him, or even when they just announced Yarmuth, and it got twice as loud once they finally announced McGarvey as the winner of this race.
Well, this being a very heavily Republican state, this is a rare bright spot for Democrats. To send someone to Congress like this is really a big deal.
One thing that I also found interesting, they pulled out the newspaper article from, I guess, 16 years ago when Yarmuth was elected, exposing, I guess, some cold takes.
And the analysis saying that Yarmuth wasn't going to win, it wasn't going to work out well for him, and it was completely wrong.
It was Republican seat for years and years.
Well, in this case, McGarvey was taking a seat from a fellow Democrat. He was in a heavy Democratic district, and he did exactly what he was supposed to do. He has taken this seat, and he's going to be going to Washington to represent this city in Washington in Congress.
Something that I find interesting, guys, I don't mean to cut you off, I just want something interesting, is that when I sat down with McGarvey, and I asked him, how does Frankfurt transition to Washington? And he said to me, I served in the minority in Frankfurt, and I still was able to pass 18 bills in my tenure there. And so, David, as someone, you spent a lot of time in Frankfurt talking with then Senator McGarvey, just your thoughts on that statement that he made to me.
I couldn't hear him.
He's asking about I could take the question, but he wanted to talk to you about just the amount of work that Senator McGarvey has done in the state Senate, being someone who's been around the state a long time. Talk to us about how that has kind of propelled him forward, the bipartisanship aspect.
Well, he really has a unique personality. He made a lot of friends on both sides of the aisle when he was in the legislature. He was respected enough by his fellow Democrats to make him the Senate Majority Leader, or Senate Minority Leader in the legislature. That put him face to face with the leadership of the Republican Party. I don't recall anyone in the Republican leadership ever having anything negative to say about him. He was well respected. He has some tremendous personal skills that allows him to get things done. It'll be interesting to see what he does when he takes those skills to Washington.
He mentioned the health care mandate that was passed during his time as senator. The one, I guess, that would provide health care for people. Kentucky Connect, I guess that would be.
Hold on just a second. We're getting into.
Andy Bashir is in the building.
What's going on, Governor?
We can try to listen to him, what he's got to say. Nick, can you hear them talking up there?
Barely. It's not coming in real. It's not coming in real good. I just switched over to that real quick. So you guys have muted you guys, and we've got the podium sound now.
And earlier today, I let you all know that one of my colleagues, State Representative Josie Raymond, won. State Representative Raymond is in the building, so please give it up for Representative Raymond. Y'all got to do a little bit better than that. Give it up for Representative Raymond. Thank you, thank you.
So we are getting really close to another exciting call in a major race. We are hoping we're going to hear some great news about the Louisville mayor's race any second. So I need you all to stay energized, stay excited, and get ready to hear from Governor Andy Bashir any minute. So we'll be back soon with more updates. Until then, enjoy the company, enjoy the atmosphere, and enjoy the great news about Democrats in Louisville.
Well, how's that for a teaser? Councilwoman Cassie Chambers Armstrong coming to the podium to say they expect more great news in just a couple of seconds is what I believe she just said. That's a pretty big cliffhanger to leave us on, but it's sounding like things are going well for Craig Greenberg's camp. Quickly, before we go back to Sean and to David, give them a chance to sort of recoup, I want to play a soundbite from Morgan McGarvey right now. During the victory speech, if you didn't get a chance to catch it, we pulled this bite here, and let's hear from him now.
And I promise to do my best to keep us moving in the right direction. The reality is, our American experiment has never been perfect. Our greatness comes from our continued willingness to work toward that more perfect union. I am so excited to begin this journey, but I wouldn't be able to do this without the help of so many who've been there for me along the way, many of whom are here tonight.
And you hearing him talk about getting the support of so many people. That was a part of his victory speech. Sean, I don't know if you guys can still hear me, but how's that for a cliffhanger from the councilwoman there just a couple of minutes ago?
You know, it's not the first time they've done that tonight. David, you remember they came out and talked about when they were about to call the AP race for Senator McGarvey. Well, they've just done the same thing for Craig Greenberg. It sounds like they're leaving us on that cliffhanger. Sounds like things might be looking good in the Greenberg camp.
In fact, I've exchanged texts with people inside the campaign who are actively involved in the counting of the votes. They're being very confident right now. They're not saying when he would be prepared to come out and claim victory, but they really feel like they're headed in that direction.
He said he was staying home with family to watch the first part.
that's what his plan was. So we don't know if he's in the building yet. We do know that he had planned to stay with his family until it was time for him to make an official appearance.
Obviously, we're still waiting on Morgan McGarvey. He is now talking to another outlet. He's going to make his way over to us. But I want you to talk to me about, David, talking to you specifically, talk to me about what you took most out of what he had to say tonight.
It was very much along all of the Democratic talking points, social programs, investing in workers, investing in education. There wasn't anything outside of the norm that wouldn't make him a very welcome addition to the Democratic side of the House. The question is, when he goes in, will he be part of a minority or will he be part of a majority? And whoever is in control of the House, whoever is the Speaker of the House, is going to have a lot to say about what he's going to do in terms of committee assignments and work that he's going to be doing there. So much of his future and his ability to perform in Congress depends on how the rest of Congress comes together. We're going to have to wait and see how that's going to be later tonight.
Yeah, I know that's one thing about elections. It's a lot of hurry up and wait. Nick, we're still waiting on Morgan McGarvey, but I have a feeling if he does make his way over here, you'll hear from us again.
Okay, I just want to tell you guys you've done a wonderful job. Thank you for giving us this insight. Thank you for being here with us tonight. You've done a wonderful job. I'm sure we're going to speak again in a couple of minutes here, but I'm going to take the reins from you both.
We'll be here.
Okay. What a great job the two of them did. Wow. Okay, that was great. That's the kind of insight, that's the kind of in-depth analysis we were looking for tonight. But we've got about 4 minutes now until we have to go back to our other cutting. So I wanted to just run quickly through a couple of races that have been called. And I have to change things over with the computer, so you got to give me a second here. But I did want to sort of go through that with you all now. And I think I done it right. Look at me. Yes. First time. Nailed it. Okay. All right. So this is what we're looking at in the U.S. Senate race. Obviously, Rand Paul has won re-election tonight. We all know that. Moving across the river to Indiana, Todd Young has won re-election as well. So I wanted to pass that along to you. Just moving right down the list that I have here, they talked about the Louisville mayor situation. But this is what we've got. We have updated numbers that are coming. So I just wanted to let you know that this is what we've got. And so that's not anywhere close to modern, and we'll get those for you. Okay, to the amendments. We talked a little bit about the amendments. No legislative session. This amendment, what this means is that the lawmakers, the legislature, will not be allowed to call themselves back in for a special session. That will remain the governor's power. And so far, with about 40% in, that's looking at a 53% to 47%. Now to Amendment 2. This is the abortion amendment. A little bit of a confusing amendment. In the days and weeks ahead of Election Day, a lot of people have made comments about not really being able to understand what exactly they were voting for. So a vote yes was for pro-life. A vote no was for pro-choice, to make it as simple as possible for everybody. And that's what you're looking at. So no with 55%, and that's with 51% of the vote in. Okay, let's run down a few more of these things. The U.S. House, District 3. Okay, so we've been talking about Morgan McGarvey beating Stuart Ray. And David made a great point about saying how Morgan McGarvey was going into Washington as Kentucky's only Democratic congressman. And you can see that here. The other districts are all won by Republican. James Comer, Brett Guthrie, Thomas Massey, Andy Barr, Harold Rogers. Republicans, 5 out of 6. And Morgan McGarvey, the lone Democrat. On the Indiana side, I just wanted to show this quickly. I have to exit the full screen. So this is the Indiana side, and this is what we're looking at as I make that full screen now. So some have been called, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 have been called, 2 have not. That's how the House is shaking out on the Indiana side of things. Okay, moving right along to pull up some more results. We have gotten some JCPS. We talked about the JCPS school board and what that was going to look like tonight, because there were a number of candidates that had a mantra of flip the board. They were talking about flipping the JCPS board, running on that same campaign. And the things that were crucial to them were anti-critical race theory. And they were very critical of the JCPS board going to NTI, or staying with NTI, I should say. So let's just take a look at that. So Diane Porter wins re-election. She was the JCPS board chair. She wins re-election tonight. James Craig, looking like that race has been called for him. Linda Duncan, and then Corey Shull. So all of the incumbent board members remain on the JCPS school board. That flipped the board mantra that had been spoken about in the weeks before Election Day does fail to come to fruition. What else do we have here that I wanted to throw out? We have some Metro Council seats. I've not checked these, but these are pretty new. This is coming in. Okay, we'll run through these really quick. This is District 5, District 7. Paula McCraney wins re-election. 9, Andrew Owen outs Alexandra Martindale. 13, still too close to call. 17, too close to call. 21 as well. And 25. I'm only running through those so quickly because we have to go to a national break here soon, in about a minute or so. So I just wanted to run through some of those things that we've not had a chance to talk about yet together. I think I have another 30 seconds. Is it, guys? Is that about right? So let me do that one more time I want to bring up District 5 just really quickly because Donna Purvis is the incumbent. She wins re-election tonight. But the other person on the ballot is Quintez Brown, and many people in Louisville know Quintez Brown as the person accused of shooting at Craig Greenberg. Very interesting to see this. He received 124 votes tonight, and Donna Purvis received 1,000 votes, so she will go in. Okay, that brings us to the end of this cut-in. We're going to go right to national TV, and we'll be right back.
Decision 2022.
Well, Rand Paul will spend the next 6 years in the U.S. Senate.
The Associated Press called the race pretty early, just after 7 o'clock. If you have the Wave News alert, you probably got the alert here a little bit ago. U.S. Senate, again, Rand Paul, the incumbent, the winner there with 58% of the vote against Charles Booker, 42% of the vote.
Here's what he had to say after the race was called.
Let us make common cause with our adversaries, to agree to disagree, to reject and respect our differences and leave the anger behind.
And Rand Paul was first elected to the Senate in 2010. He has said that he supports the sanctity of life and opposes the Inflation Reduction Act.
Our victory is that people have stood up across Kentucky that had given up. People that once thought that their voice didn't matter are now lifting their voices and organizing and running for office. We are the change, and that's the win from the...
All right, and you just heard from Charles Booker there. And we are going to go live to Wave News reporter Sean Bowdy, who is covering elections for us tonight. He is joining us live tonight. Sean.
Yeah, we're inside the Golden House, the headquarters for Louisville Democrats. A couple of big announcements already made. David Mattingly, you've been covering both of these races very closely for Louisville mayor and also Louisville's 3rd congressional district. A big announcement just made, of course, for Morgan McGarvey. We just talked to him. Big win for him.
A very big win, but a very expected win for him. This was a heavy Democratic district. He was expected to win. Nationally, there was a lot of expectations that he would win. Now the question is, what kind of Congress is he going to be going to? Well, Democrats still have control of the House. If that is the case, he might get some pretty good assignments. But if it's the other way around, he may not. So his future is still somewhat in doubt in Congress because he doesn't know what kind of Congress he's going into. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But when it comes to the mayor's race with Craig Greenberg, just on the heels of of what we saw from Morgan McGarvey, we are now hearing that Greenberg could be coming out here very soon with a similar announcement. So people behind the scenes here with the Greenberg campaign, very optimistic that they are also looking at.
They're on a much looser schedule than we are. I know we got to get back to the studio, guys. Okay, very good. Thank you so much. We're going to get to some updated numbers in the mayoral race coming up here in just a little bit. For right now, that will take you back to NBC's coverage.
Okay, welcome back in to the Wave Now studio. We are continuing our live coverage of election night 2022. We had to jump off there for John and Myra to give us an update. We have the several national cut-ins, more or less. NBC National gives us a couple of minutes of a window that they want us to fill up and take up some time. And so we got to bounce off for them as I plug my IFB back in so I can kind of hear myself here, which is good. Okay, yeah, so it's good to be with you here. It feels like we can kind of breathe a little bit before we get a big announcement about Louisville's mayor, which Councilwoman Chambers Armstrong said is coming shortly. I want to show you, these are the updated numbers as you see them, looking like a 55% to 45% lead for Craig Greenberg. And this is with 64% of the city reporting. So I don't know when we're going to make this call. If you have been with us through the stream for the whole while here, you'll know that Cassie Chambers Armstrong, the Metro Councilwoman for District 8, that covers a majority of the Highlands, she has been out at this Democratic, watch party, for lack of a better way to put it. And she said that there would be an announcement coming very shortly. If you were with us through this, stream, you know that we have had Sean and David on for quite some time talking about Morgan McGarvey being reelected. And we had a chance to talk to Morgan McGarvey after we jumped off here. Sean and David did an interview with him. So I'm in the process of trying to load this up for you so that we can hear from him. And I think we have it loaded up. So let's go to it now.
All right, Morgan, first of all, congratulations. Tell me about what you're feeling right now.
Thank you. I mean, it's an incredible feeling. Anybody who runs for office, you work really hard. You knock on doors, you put up yard signs. It's nice to see that hard work pays off. But then here's the reality. Now is when the work really begins. And now it's the time to earn the trust and respect of everyone, whether you voted for me or not. And that's what I've been able to do in the state Senate, working to get things done, working to pass bills, working to help in constituent services. I hope that when I get into office in January, we'll hit the ground running, be able to help the people of Louisville.
Hey, how about the energy in this room tonight?
It's an amazing feeling. I mean, tons of people here. It feels good. I think we're off to a good start.
All right, quickly, I want to talk about Congressman Awesome, I think you called it, John Yarmuth. You mentioned him a lot in your speech. He's got to be an inspiration for you going into Congress.
John Yarmuth has done an amazing job. For 16 years, he went from an improbable victory to the chairman of the House Budget Committee, working on some of the most significant pieces of legislation this century in the infrastructure bill and the American Rescue Plan Act. To be able to have someone like that to call on as I'm getting started with everything from staffing to committee assignments is going to be an invaluable resource.
And the last thing I got for you, all right, you got up there, you talked about your wife. I saw a lot of people wiping tears out of their eyes. It's got to be an important part of the run for Congress and your future in Congress.
Yeah, my wife is, it sounds cliche, but she really is my best friend. We've been dating for 21 years, but we don't just love each other, we still like each other. We've got great kids, and it's a partnership that I couldn't do this without.
Awesome. Morgan, thank you so much, man. Congratulations. I'll see you later. We'll see you in Washington. Congressman-elect.
Congressman-elect McGarvey with a dap to end their interview. All right. That'll tell you how good everybody's feeling in that room, huh? Okay, here's what the numbers look like. They're still rolling in slowly, surely, just to give you a look at that board, what that looks like. Something else that's been locked up has been the Senate race. Rand Paul won re-election tonight over Charles Booker. We went to that a while ago at the very beginning of our stream here now, almost 2 hours ago. And we didn't really get to hear Rand Paul real good. You know, the sound wasn't great over there in Bowling Green. We were pulling that reception from Bowling Green. So it doesn't always shake out so hot, but I wanted to play a soundbite from him just because we have it, and he's a winner tonight. And so let's play that sound from Senator Paul.
Let us make common cause with our adversaries, to agree to disagree, to reject and respect our differences and leave the anger behind.
Soundbite, but good to get to. So let's play Charles Booker. When he came to address the crowd in Louisville, he had this to say.
We gonna make noise for the Commonwealth of Kentucky right now. If you believe Kentucky is worth fighting for, let me hear you make some noise. That's right. If you believe our lives are worth fighting for, make some noise. This is the Kentucky I know. All right, y'all, I'm gonna hug on some of y'all. I'm gonna try to hug everybody, but it's a lot of y'all. And then we're gonna keep watching these results come in, and we're gonna keep the work going. All right, y'all, thank y'all for all your support. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for organizing. Thank you for believing by my side.
Okay, that was Charles Booker in a losing effort tonight. Just to do a quick round, we got I want to take you guys to see our cameras in the field. That is at the Democratic Watch Party. That is the McGarvey Greenberg room. That is where we were looking at David and Sean. As we move over, this is the Republican side of things, looking rather quiet at the Dieruf Ray camp, Republican camp there at the Henry Clay Entertainment Center. So that's what things look like at the two respective places. There are a couple of things I also wanted to get to. There wasn't too much time for us to delve into some of the other races, so I do want to do that now, if you will allow me to do so. Let me just transition this here. We'll start with the JCPS board. And as you look at that, there, looking like we had gold checks on those maybe 20 minutes ago, 10, 15 minutes ago, but this is what it looks like now. And because the gold has been taken away, I won't say that it's official, but it is looking like incumbent Diane Porter will win re-election, looking like she has 70% of the vote. And you can see it says 99%. So for all intents and purposes, infer from that what you will. Okay, this is JCPS Board District 3, James Craig coming in, 4,500 votes, 44% of the vote. Incumbent Linda Duncan taking 54% of the vote. And then in District 6, Corey Scholl taking 60% of the vote. And again, all of those were with 99% reporting. And I wanted to bring up one more thing about the JCPS board, because there was a group of people who were wanting to, quote unquote, flip the JCPS board. And those candidates were running together. in a way to unseat the incumbents. And that Misty Glenn was a part of that. In District 5, that was Greg Pachetti. In District 3, that was Steve Ullum. And in District 1, Charlie Bill. None of those candidates were successful tonight. And I just wanted to make a note of that because they were running on a similar, campaign promise of unseating the incumbents. So that is the JCPS District Board. I'm seeing the comments on Facebook. Some people are making some comments here on Facebook, so I just want to get to those. And Ed Bowman said his job in D.C. will be a lot different than it is in Frankfurt, and that's coming from Ed on Facebook. And you're right, and that's why David made a mention, if you were listening a while back, just about seeing what McGarvey is going to want to do in Washington is totally going to depend on how the rest of this night shapes up, and if that's where the majority is in Congress. So that will be that. I want to go through Metro Council really fast just because it's looking like those have been wrapped up as well. So considering we are going bottom to top here, this is Metro Council District 25, looking like Khalil Batshon is taking 55% of the vote, 2,400 and change to about 2,000 votes. So looking like Khalil Batshon will unseat the incumbent, Amy Holton Stewart. As we move along, District 21, this is 99% reporting. This is what it's showing right here. 21, Councilwoman George is not running for re-election, so this was an open district, an open seat, and you're looking at the results of that right now. Moving on. 17, Metro Council District. Incumbent Marcus Winkler looking for re-election. It's looking like that is becoming ever more the possibility tonight as we have 99% of the vote in. He's received 59% of the vote. Okay, moving on. Mark Fox, the incumbent, looking like he may lose his seat tonight. 99% reporting, 58% for Dan Soon. So incumbent Councilman Mark Fox looking like a unsuccessful re-election bid tonight. Okay, District 9. This was the council seat vacated by Bill Hollander. Bill Hollander not running for re-election, and so an open seat for two new candidates. And this is what we're looking at right now, looking like Andrew Owen will slide into the District 9 seat, 2,100 votes. That's 68%. Okay, going to District 7, Metro Council, Paula McCraney. 64% of the vote, 99% reporting, looking like a successful re-election bid for her. Then we go to District 5. And District 5, naturally had a lot of talk about it because of the two candidates. Incumbent Donna Purvis with really winning this in a landslide, and Quintez Brown, her opponent, running as an independent. Quintez Brown is the man accused of shooting at mayoral candidate Greenberg on Valentine's Day several months ago. Still on the ballot on election night, and that is something that's turned a lot of heads. That's had a lot of people talking, and this is how it's shaken out. And that is a look at Metro Council. Okay, those are some of the smaller races. We are now 15 or so minutes out from another cut-in on Wave News. That comes at 9:56 as I check my phone here. So we're about 14 minutes out or so. Okay. One more quick, just let me get a quick check of some of the other things we've not discussed tonight. That being, oh yeah, let's do this. We'll do these sheriff's ones. I'll give you guys a quick look for those folks in Bullitt County. Looking like Walt Scholar is going to be back in the sheriff's seat, winning that re-election handedly tonight as that race has been called. You see the gold check there. Okay, Shepherdsville mayor looking like Jose Cubero will be winning that election with 1,200 votes, 46%, beating out the other two candidates tonight. The gold check going there. And the Clark County Sheriff looked like Scotty Maples getting 65% of the vote, 22,000 votes to Ed Byers, 11,000, almost doubling that on the head there. So 65 to 35 Scotty Maples will become the new Clark County Sheriff. In Floyd County, Steve Bush will win this race. 8,800 votes, 62% to Daryl Mills is 5,300 votes. That is 38%. Okay, what else? Anything else that we didn't get to? No, this looks good. Okay. I want to do one more thing here, because we are still waiting on what is to come in the Louisville mayor's race. That is the biggest race for this city right now. And again, Cassie Chambers Armstrong has said that there is going to be some good news coming down from their camp. So as I change and look things, that's another look at Bill Dieruf's camp tonight, Bill Dieruf's watch party. And as we change things over, that is what it looks like. And it looks like Cassie Chambers Armstrong is addressing the crowd. So let's go to it now.
Start coming forward towards the front of the room. We are expecting that shortly we're going to have some more people to make exciting announcements. We want to make sure that we have lots of energy, enthusiasm. So please move on up. While we are waiting, we got some updates. Representative, what do we know?
What we know is Senator Karen Berg won her race. She is somewhere in the building. Give it up for Senator Berg.
Not only did Senator Berg win, she won big. Round of applause for Senator Karen Berg.
Congratulations, Senator Berg.
We also have some Metro Council winners in the House. We have Andrew Owen from District 9. Give it up for our newest councilman from District 9. I saw Councilwoman Paula McCraney winning big in her race. Give it up for Paula McCraney. And we have Jennifer Chappell, our newest Metro Council woman at the 21st or the 13th District.
Y'all got to clap for our winners. It's been a hard.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
Let's give it up for the candidates.
Y'all gotta clap a little bit louder than that. I know it's late in the night.
And so we're also, are y'all seeing these results about Amendment 2 up here behind me? Yeah, Amendment 2, it looks like, is going down. So, nothing official yet, but the numbers are looking very, very good. So we're tracking those closely.
And I think we got a treat.
Yeah. So
it looks like we got some folks out there that's ready to play some music. Give it up for Simmons College marching band. Let's go.
Okay, sounding like the sound kind of went out on us there. I'm keeping it up just in case we do hear it, but it's looking like the Simmons College marching band is playing now. And again, this is another cliffhanger. There's the sound. And talk over it some because it might be a little loud for folks, coming through the phone or something. But yeah, that is the Simmons College marching band. You just heard from Metro Councilwoman Cassie Chambers Armstrong saying that nothing is official yet, but everything looks, quote, really good. If that's the case, I am going to go to the board, which currently shows 93% of precincts reporting, looking very good for Craig Greenberg. Looking like he's got a nearly 20,000 vote lead as we wind down on election night here. So we are in a little bit of the lull period, right? The lull period before we get this major announcement about Louisville's mayor, and it's looking right now with 93%, looking like things are looking good for Greenberg. But I do want to play some sound from you. We were able to talk to these candidates a little bit today as they were voting, as they were out in the community. And here's what Craig Greenberg had to say as we caught up with him early this afternoon.
So we're just excited about today. We're so thankful for all of the support people from across the entire city have given to our campaign, and really just we are just humbled and honored with the support. And so it's a special day, and we're excited about the results tonight and then getting to work tomorrow and moving Louisville forward in a new direction.
Fred Johnson. Thank you. Oh, yeah, Fred. No, good to see you.
I don't know if you heard that there, but he said, we're excited about tonight. And then he said, we're excited about tomorrow. Sounding awfully confident for Craig Greenberg, and maybe rightfully so on the way things will shake out tonight. But we did get a chance to talk to Bill Dieruf as well. This was a little later in the night as Natalia was able to catch up with him. She has been at that campaign headquarters tonight. So let's just hear from Bill Dieruf.
This is kind of surreal because every election I've had for the last two, I've been unopposed. So I'm not really sure what this means, but it's exciting because all the people are coming and saying, yes, we want a proven leader, and Democrats, Republicans are out there going, yes. So we'll see if we got enough yeses very soon now.
So Louisville is traditionally a heavily Democratic city. How do you feel about that going into this race? What kind of support have you seen from areas in town that maybe wouldn't necessarily be Republican?
Well, half my team is Democrat and half I'm Republican. So as a mayor of Jeffersontown, I've always been nonpartisan. So I realize what it takes to represent everybody. And the community in Metro are saying, we want somebody that can do outside the Waterston, inside the Waterston, from Portland to Prospect, from Valley Station to the Highlands, to say, this is our mayor, and I will be that mayor.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, that was Bill Dieruf. And Bill Dieruf, of course, was the mayor of J-Town for quite some time. Just checking in on that race now. Looking good for Carol Pike, doubling up here, 67% to 33%. I know it says 0% reporting, but the boards have been a little bit wonky tonight. And so that race was looking good, before the board maybe kind of had a problem there. So just wanted to show you guys that before we went to that. We got about 6 minutes before we go into our next cut-in on TV, and I want to stick with the Louisville mayor. It's the biggest thing of the night. We're getting an announcement soon. David Mattingly has been there. He's talked to these candidates. He did several stories profiling these two candidates, and one of the things that David talked to them about quite extensively was crime. And so I want to play some of that for you before we go to our cut-in here. So this is David's story with the two mayoral candidates about crime in Louisville.
The last 5 years have left hundreds of Louisvillians dead and hundreds more wounded. And during this mayoral race, the debate often begins with guns.
I believe we need to do everything possible to crack down on illegal guns and have fewer guns on our street, and not implement proposals that would flood our streets with more guns.
Guns aren't the solution. It's the person committing the crime that we have to go after. He wants to go after the gun. I want to arrest the cartel leaders and the gang leaders and get them off the street.
Reaction to Louisville's deadly, out-of-control violence exposes some of the clearest differences between Republican Bill Dieruf and Democrat Craig Greenberg. We asked the question, the city is suffering through its third straight year of triple-digit homicides. Based on your observations, why do you think this is happening?
And right now, our town's policing needs a lot of help. And what we would bring downtown is a matter of community policing. It's needed more and more anywhere you go. Any place I talk to, any people I talk to, whether it's the West End, PRP, or J-Town or Prospect, people want to be safe. They want to be safe when they go to the grocery store. They want to be safe when they simply walk outside their door.
We can and must do better as a city to invest in mental health providers. And we also need to invest in programs that support our teens and young adults.
Okay, I don't want to cut this off because this is important, but I did notice that we have Governor Andy Beshear now, and he is going to be addressing the crowd. So I'd want to go to the governor at Greenberg's camp right now.
What a better way than the band from Simmons to welcome in the next mayor of Louisville. I am proud to be the first person to run for governor in forever that was proud to say he was from Louisville. His kids were born in Louisville, and he raised them in Louisville. I love this city. It's important to me, and that's why I'm thrilled that you have elected an incredible mayor in Craig Greenberg. Now, I know that we run these races hard, and I know Craig ran as a proud Democrat, but I know that tomorrow he starts his journey as a mayor for every single citizen of this county, that he is going to earn the faith of every single citizen of this county, and he is going to do us proud. Now, I know
we
a
have
little
to go to
something
one
about
more
close
cut-in,
elections.
and then we will come right back to this. But if you're streaming, we'll keep you on Facebook with the governor.
You are about to get a great first family of this city. Rachel Greenberg and their 2 sons are going to add so much. And as the days come and go, as they work to get your support and your faith, we're going to need you to support them as a family as well. So, let me introduce you for the first time to my friend for over a decade. A great man, a great lawyer, a great entrepreneur, and a guy who's going to be a phenomenal mayor. Your next mayor, Craig Greenberg.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Governor Beshear, and thank you all. Who's ready to move Louisville in a new direction? Who's ready to unify our city and work together to make meaningful change? Louisville, I am honored and humbled to be your next mayor, and I am excited to work with each and every one of you every day. As we ran through every corner of our city, from PRP to Prospect to Park Duval and every neighborhood in between, I've heard your concerns and dreams. You've shared your personal stories and aspirations. We've prayed and we've laughed. It's been the experience of a lifetime for my family and for me. But friends, tonight is just the beginning. Together, we'll make Louisville a safer city. Together,
regardless of your political party, will make Louisville a cleaner, a greener, and a healthier city. Together, we'll make universal pre-K a reality and support our educational institutions. And we will support our educational institutions from pre-K through post-secondary education. We'll continue to hear Simmons College Band play many more times and make Louisville an HBCU town. Together, we'll build more affordable housing so every family has a safe and quality place to live as a foundation for success. Together, we'll unify our city and invest in people and neighborhoods that have been neglected and discriminated for our entire lifetime. Together, we'll make Louisville the easiest and best place to create good.
Just want to welcome everybody back to the stream. You're watching Wave Now's coverage of Mayor-elect Craig Greenberg's victory speech tonight. Let's go to the mayor-elect.
Together, we will simply move Louisville forward in a new direction. The time for politics is over. The time for action and unity is now. These may sound like lofty goals to some, but to me, this is our only option, our only direction, a new direction. I know we can do all of this together because we won this campaign together. Our victory tonight is the result of incredibly hard work of all of my campaign team that is on the stage with me here tonight. It's the result of all of you here celebrating with us. It's the result of everyone who voted and everyone who volunteered and provided so much support across our entire city. To each of you, thank you very much. There are a lot of people to thank. Let me first start by thanking my opponent, Mayor Bill Dieruf. I just had the honor of speaking with Mayor Dieruf, and we each congratulated each other on a hard-fought campaign, and we each look forward to continuing to move Louisville forward and working together to address these challenges that we've been all talking about during this entire campaign. To my campaign team, led by my amazing, as she likes to say, volunteer campaign chair, Barbara Sexton Smith. We as a team have been through so much together, far more than most campaign teams ever want to go through together. To each of you, thank you for what you've given every day to this campaign. Thank you for your hard work, creativity, energy, and sense of urgency. And I'll never forget this experience that we've shared together. To the governor and lieutenant governor, thank you all for your support, and thank you for everything that you are doing to lead Kentucky forward. When I talk about getting to work tomorrow, it's for the city of Louisville, it's for the state of Kentucky, and one of the things we're going to be working on is getting you all reelected next year. To Metro Council President David James. Thank you so much. I have not only learned a lot by working together, but by becoming your friend. And I look forward to working with you and every one of your colleagues on the Metro Council, regardless of party, to address our challenges and move Louisville forward. Thank you so much, David. Todd, to you and every one of your colleagues in organized labor, thank you for the amazing support of the over 100,000 hardworking men and women in Louisville. It is greatly appreciated, and I look forward to working together. To every volunteer, to every contributor, to everyone who knocked on a door, to old friends and new friends, to everyone who voted, thank you. To our new U.S. Congressman, Morgan and Chris have been very close friends of Rachel and I far outside of politics for so many years. It has been the honor of a lifetime to be on the ballot with you all. We look forward to working together, and we look forward to getting our families back together after the craziness of the campaign. I'm so excited for you all. A special thank you also to former Mayor Jerry Abramson. Following a field trip in 8th grade to Mayor Abramson's brand new office in City Hall, that served as the inspiration to me to start thinking about getting involved in public service. And to think from that field trip in 8th grade to being here tonight is just truly a dream come true. So thank you, Mayor Jerry. And finally, to my family. Yes. First, to my sister and my brother-in-law and my nephew, I love you all and thank you. To my in-laws, Rachel's parents, you all have been so supportive since the very beginning. To my amazing parents who brought me into this world and have been my source of inspiration and strength. Oh, thank you, Kara. To Daniel and Benjamin. You all are the most amazing children that anyone could ask for. You have not only been supporters, but you have been amazing advisors. I have said repeatedly that all of us running for office, in elected office, in any leadership position should be listening more to the younger people in our community. It starts at our dinner table at home. It starts with our family text. You all are truly amazing. And finally, to the reason I know everybody really voted for me, to the person in our family who is far more popular than me, is not only the love of my life, but is my rock, is an amazing friend, is an amazing partner. Rach, I love you so much, and thank you. Stay here. Together, we overcame great odds to win. We rebounded from incredibly challenging experiences stronger than ever, with a greater understanding of the challenges of our city and a resolve to do new things in new ways with a sense of urgency that our city has never experienced. So tonight, let's celebrate these victories. Tomorrow, it's back to work. I'm honored and humbled to be your next mayor, and I'm excited to work with each and every one of you here tonight and everyone across our entire city and state to move Louisville forward in a new direction. Thank you all so much.
Josh right now, just Josh right now.
Welcome back in to Wave Now. We are at the campaign headquarters for Morgan McGarvey and mayor-elect, I should say, Craig Greenberg, the next mayor of Louisville. A very successful night for those two men. Celebrating victories tonight, getting in-person endorsements, so to speak, from the governor, Andy Beshear, the lieutenant governor, Jacqueline Coleman. Most of the Metro Council is there. And so a very successful night for the Democratic Party in Louisville. We also have, before we go to David Mattingly and Sean Bowdy, who have been there all night. They've been wonderful for us. They're providing so much just context and insight over there. And so I really appreciate my two guys for doing that. But in the meantime, we are going to go to Bill Dieruf. We have his concession speech. So I want to play that for you right now.
We've had a great 18 months. We've had a lot of people that have stood up and said, yes, we need a change in Louisville. We have a lot of people that said we need safety in Louisville, and we said Rick Sanders was going to come with us. We realized what economic development meant. And I am warmed and humbled by the people that have been here tonight and the people that have helped me over that time frame. You all have made the difference in this community. We have left a mark on this community to where we want this community to go. But unfortunately, it's counted in votes. It's not counted in experience. And so we have to call it tonight. And I called the opponent and said he will be the next mayor of Louisville. But I'm not going away. I'll be here for another race some other time. I want to thank my wife for giving up 18 months of our...
Okay, we're going to go ahead and jump out of this because former President Donald Trump is speaking right now, and we're not quite sure what exactly he's going to say, but I am going to throw it to the former president because we could get some kind of announcement from him. So let's go to that right now.
45,000 people out there. We had no teleprompter, and I said, I wonder what Biden would do right now, but we gutted it out, and it was amazing. But Marco had a fantastic evening. At 58-41, that's really tremendous. That's as of this moment. Katie Britt, I want to congratulate Katie Britt. We endorsed Katie, and she did fantastically. 68-30. That means she has a future, young, and just a fantastic woman with a husband who's great. He's maybe the largest human being I've ever seen. He was a offensive lineman in the NFL for a long time and a great football player, actually played for Alabama. But Katie, congratulations to you. And we have a lot of other good ones going out there. Herschel's leading right now. So we have a lot of big races going on right now. So enjoy that, enjoy the food, and enjoy everything. And really, in all fairness, it is a great honor to have the media with us. And we hope you enjoy yourself and this wonderful group of people. These are the people that you read about. They are not the nicest people in the world, but they are brilliant financially. We're not going to see any great football stars in here, but we do see brilliant people. But but they're great people and very, very successful people, and they want what's good for the country, and that's why they're here. And I want to thank you all for being here. And again, to the media, thank you very much. Have a good time. Thank you.
Okay. It's former President Donald Trump making a bit of an impromptu speech there. Didn't know exactly what he was going to say. Of course, there have been rumors that the former president is going to rerun for president in 2024. So I didn't want to not bring it to you, in case something was said there that could have been a little off the cuff. But again, Trump just congratulating the candidates that he endorsed tonight, and thanking the media several times for being in attendance tonight, a bit unlike the former president to do. So like I said, I wanted to bring that to you just in case something was said that was, important or anything really. But I do want to go back to Bill Dieruf's concession speech because we cut that short, and I know some people are going to want to hear that. So what I'm going to do is we're going to play Dieruf's sound one more time as he came to the podium to address the crowd tonight.
We've had a great 18 months. We've had a lot of people that have stood up and said, yes, we need a change in Louisville. We have a lot of people that said we need safety in Louisville, and we said Rick Sanders was going to come with us. We realized what economic development meant. And I am warmed and humbled by the people that have been here tonight and the people that have helped me over that time frame. You all have made the difference in this community. We have left a mark on this community to where we want this community to go. But unfortunately, it's counted in votes. It's not counted in experience. And so we have to call it tonight. And I called the opponent and said he will be the next mayor of Louisville. But I'm not going away. I'll be here for another race some other time. I want to thank my wife for giving up 18 months of our life together, and my kids, my grandkids. The two up here are the two that we did it for. So we hope that all of you all have learned something from this experience. We can unite this community once again because it's very much broken. And I look forward to working with all you all again. And God bless you and thank you for everything you've done for me. We are a family. Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay, that was Bill Dieruf addressing the crowd. See him shaking hands there before the camera out with Anthony Piagentini.
One or two more quick announcements.
And I'm gonna get out of that now.
First,
yeah. So my one takeaway as I watch Bill Dieruf talk there is he said that he's not done. He's got another race in him somewhere down the line. So we will see what that may be. Of course, he will not return as J-Town's mayor, right? Somebody else will take that. We'll take that seat. We have our reporters at both camps right now. We have Sean and David, who have been so wonderful for us at the Greenberg and the McGarvey camp. Sean actually got a chance to talk to Morgan McGarvey after he came off the podium tonight, so that was really cool to see. Natalia Martinez has been at the Republican side of things a bit. I have a lot of things at my disposal here. I got a lot of screens. I got a lot of cameras. And if you look at the Democratic camera that we have there at the Democratic, HQ and the Republican camera that you see at HQ, it's two vastly different scenes. And of course we could all imagine that, right? The winning side, who sticks around on the on the losing side, who sticks around on the losing side. So you could imagine. And we have Sean, David, and Natalia kind of standing by for us, but we do have just only about 5 minutes to go here until our next cut-in. So I'm reluctant to bring them in to try and actually have some sort of a conversation until we get through the next cut-in and onto the other side here before our 11 o'clock show. So what I'll do is I'll play for you one more time Sean's interview with Morgan McGarvey right after he got done with his victory speech. Sean got him down on the podium, and they talked for a couple of minutes. So here's that.
All right, Morgan, first of all, congratulations. Tell me about what you're feeling right now.
Thank you. I mean, it's an incredible feeling. Anybody runs for office, you work really hard. You knock on doors, you put up yard signs. It's nice to see that hard work pays off, but then here's the reality. Now is when the work really begins. And now it's the time to earn the trust and respect of everyone, whether you voted for me or not. And that's what I've been able to do in the state Senate, working to get things done, working to pass bills, working to help with constituent services. I hope that when I get into office in January, we'll hit the ground running, be able to help the people of Louisville.
Hey, how about the energy in this room tonight?
It's an amazing feeling. I mean, tons of people here. It feels good. I think we're off to a good start.
All right, quickly, I want to talk about Congressman Awesome, I think you got it, John Yarmuth. You mentioned him a lot in your speech. He's got to be an inspiration for you going into Congress.
John Yarmuth has done an amazing job. For 16 years, he went from an improbable victory to the chairman of the House Budget Committee, working on some of the most significant pieces of legislation this century in the Infrastructure Bill and the American Rescue Plan Act. To be able to have someone like that to call on as I'm getting started with everything from staffing to committee assignments is going to be an invaluable resource.
And the last thing I got for you, all right, you got up there, you talked about your wife. I saw a lot of people wiping tears out of their eyes. It's got to be an important part of your run for Congress and your future in Congress.
Yeah, my wife is, it sounds cliche, but she really is my best friend. We've been dating for 21 years, but we don't just love each other, we still like each other. We've got great kids, and it's a partnership that I couldn't do this without.
Awesome. Morgan, thank you so much, man. Congratulations. I'll see you later. We'll see you in Washington. Congressman-elect.
Sean, you can tell Sean's a relatively newly married man because he kept referencing Congressman McGarvey now as talk about his wife. Okay, I am going to go to Natalia, though, quickly. We're going to bring in Natalia Martinez here because we've got a couple of minutes before we have to go back, and toss to the cut-in. But Natalia, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a couple of hours. What's the difference been like? We talked at 7:15 or so as we talk here at 20 after 10.
Well, obviously a big difference here. They were holding on until the very last minute, but really we didn't know it was coming until Bill Dieruf with his family, his wife and his daughter and son walked up on the stage and conceded. He said that at that point he'd already called Craig Greenberg and congratulated him on the win, wished him well, and he talked about all the work that needs to be done in the city with violent crime that has skyrocketed in the last 10 years since Mayor Fisher took office back in 2011. But he's still here. He's still talking to people. He said he's not going anywhere just yet. I don't know what the next move for him exactly will be. We'll have to wait to see that. And also, Rick Sanders, he is the chief at Jeffersontown Police, and he was going to come along with Bill Dieruf in some capacity to help out the police department and turn things around. I don't see Rick here any longer, but Bill is still shaking hands, people congratulating him on a race that was a lot closer than many people may have expected, Nick.
Yeah, Natalia, that was one thing that I did want to talk about. I think he was optimistic, but I think he knew that this was going to be an uphill battle for him. Have you had a chance to talk to Dieruf since he came off the stage tonight?
I did. I went to him and congratulated him on a good race, a tough race. The percentage points, we don't know exactly what they're going to land on just yet. But it really wasn't that far off, and that's a tough sell in a city that's been democratically led by a mayor in so many years, since 1969. So it was a very uphill battle. But one thing he did tell me is continue to keep Louisville honest. So we signed off with that, Nick.
I know that's something that you are going to do. That we have no questions about. Keep Louisville honest. Okay, Nat, if there's any way for you to pull Dieruf to get a couple of quick sound bites from him, I'd love to do it. But right now, I got to let you go just because we have to transition over to our cut-in here. So I'm going to let you go. Natalia, thank you again. Okay, all right. That was Natalia Martinez with the Dieruf camp talking about, again, echoing the same thing that he had said when he was on the podium. I played that soundbite a little earlier. He said, "I'm not done. I still got stuff to do." So that settles it. That was the biggest race of the night. That has come to a conclusion. We are going to go to David and Sean on the other side of this break. And I would love to see if we could hear from Bill Dieruf. Don't know if that's possible, but that would be my main goal. I'm just being honest with us here. Hopefully we'll speak that into existence. Okay. I'm going to let the board take us out, and we are going to go into our last cut-in of the night before our 11 p.m. show. We will put the board up, and we have that on full screen, and that will take us to our last cut-in. You're watching Wave now, but you will be switching over to Wave News.
Decision 2022.
Well, the biggest story here at 10:26 is Craig Greenberg. He's going to be the next mayor of Louisville.
And Greenberg declared victory just a few minutes ago, and this is what he had to say.
As we ran through every corner of our city, from PRP to Prospect to Park Duval and every neighborhood in between, I've heard your concerns and dreams. You've shared your personal stories and aspirations. We've prayed and we've laughed. It's been the Tonight is just the beginning.
All right, so let's take a look at the numbers for that race. You can see Craig Greenberg with 52% of the vote, 142,035 votes, and 134 with Bill Dieruf. And his opponent, Bill Dieruf, just wrapped up his concession speech, and we're going to hear more from him coming up at 11.
Okay, Kentucky Amendment number 1 on the legislative session here. If Amendment 1 passes, it would let lawmakers call themselves into a special session, not having the governor do that. Kentucky's one of just 14 states where only the governor can call a special session. So let's take a look at the numbers here. And the no votes outnumbering the yes votes, 52% to 48%. That is getting closer as the night goes on. And as you can see, that's only 56% of the vote that's in.
All right. And another big reason why a lot of folks went to the polls today is Amendment 2, the no right to abortion. So Amendment 2 will determine whether or not the state of Kentucky can implement laws restricting the right to abortion. And as you can see there, with 74% of the precincts reporting, 54% voted no, and 46 have voted yes.
Let's get to the Bullitt County Sheriff's race here. A wide margin for the incumbent, Walt Scholler, over Brian Greenwell, clearly going to win that race.
And Shepherdsville has a new mayor. Let's take a look at that. Jose Cubero with 46% of the votes against Stacey Dawson-Klein and Lisa Carter.
Jeffersontown mayor, now that Bill Dieruf ran for Louisville mayor, you can see here Carol Pike, Ray Perkins, both had served in city government, but Carol Pike rolling away with this with 63% of the votes.
All right, and we're going to have more on all of the races coming up at 11.
We'll see you then.
Okay, welcome back in to Wave Now. We are in our final segment here on election night on this election Tuesday, midterm night in America. A wild night in America. Election night's always a wild night in America. Thank you so much for everybody who's been here with us for now 2 hours and 32 minutes. It's been a 2 hour and 30-minute live stream, and I just appreciate everyone who's been here and hung out with us. And here we go. Okay, biggest news of the day, Louisville has a brand new mayor, and his name is Craig Greenberg, a story that made headlines back on Valentine's Day when he's accused of being shot at in his campaign office in Butchertown, all the way to now on November 8th when he becomes Louisville's next mayor. And he was very similar to Morgan McGarvey. The two of them were in the same campaign headquarters tonight. Morgan extremely passionate and excited as he took the stage for his victory speech. Greenberg with a very similar sentiment when he took the stage for his. Let's go to a little bit of that right now.
Who's ready to move Louisville in a new direction? Who's ready to unify our city and work together to make meaningful change? Louisville, I am honored and humbled to be your next mayor, and I am excited to work with each and every one of you every day. As we ran through every corner of our city, from PRP to Prospect to Park Duval and every neighborhood in between, I've heard your concerns and dreams. You've shared your personal stories and aspirations. We've prayed and we've laughed. It's been the experience of a lifetime for my family and for me. But friends, tonight is just the beginning. Together, we'll make Louisville a safer city. Together, regardless of your political party, we'll make Louisville a cleaner, a greener, and a healthier city. Together, we'll make universal pre-K a reality and support our educational institutions. And we will support our educational institutions from pre-K through post-secondary education. We'll continue to hear Simmons College Band play many more times and make Louisville an HBCU town. Together, we'll build more affordable housing so every family has a safe and quality place to live as a foundation for success. Together, we'll unify our city and invest in people and neighborhoods that have been neglected and discriminated for our entire lifetime. Together, we'll make Louisville the easiest and best place to create good-paying jobs. Together, we will continue to protect the rights of women, and together, we will simply move Louisville forward in a new direction. The time for politics is over. The time for action and unity is now. These may sound like lofty goals to some, but to me, this is our only option, our only direction, a new direction. I know we can do all of this together because we won this campaign together. Our victory tonight is the result of incredibly hard work of all of my campaign team that is on the stage with me here tonight.
Okay, that was Mayor-elect Craig Greenberg as he took the stage. When he got off the podium, David Mattingly got him and asked him a couple of questions about the campaign, about the victory. So here's a piece of that interview, going to it now.
Talk about a new direction. 4 years from now, where are we going to be?
I hope we're a lot safer. Our kids have universal pre-K and have more opportunity regardless of the circumstances they're built into, that affordable housing is no longer an issue, that we've addressed our homeless crisis, that we're one of the most exciting, interesting, authentic, inclusive places to live. That's my vision for Louisville, and I think others across the entire city.
You've mentioned 15,000 units of affordable housing. Are you sticking to that right now in the end of your first term?
That is definitely the goal. I put out a lot of lofty goals. We need to strive to achieve those lofty goals to truly move Louisville forward in a new direction. We got here by working together, people in organized labor, so many people from the faith community, the business community, regardless of people, where they lived and what they did, came together to make this victory happen. We're going to keep working together.
What's your message to people who did not vote for you today?
I still hear you. I hear your issues. I think we have a lot more in common than you might think. We all want improved public safety. We all want to address affordable housing. We all want a cleaner city. We all want our kids to be well educated. So let's find common ground and work together.
You said you were going to work with Bill Dieruf here. Can you explain to me what you guys discussed, or how are you guys going to work?
We had a wonderful phone call. I really appreciate Mayor Dieruf's call, and we will find ways. Mayor Dieruf has been involved in our community and our state in so many ways, through the League of Cities, through his leadership of J-Town. I know he still wants to continue to contribute to our city, and we will find ways to work together.
What's next?
Well, tonight is about celebrating, and tomorrow morning it's back to work. So you'll be hearing a lot more in the very near future.
You're continuing a Democratic tradition here in holding the mayor's office. How is your next 4 years going to be different than the last 12?
We will act with a sense of urgency to address these challenges in our city that the city has never seen. And I'm excited to talk about our plans, to introduce others who will be working with me. But tonight's about celebrating and inviting others to join the team to move Louisville forward.
Will violent crime go down under your administration?
I certainly hope so, and that's the plan and expectation. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
There we go. There's my microphone. Okay. So that was mayoral-elect Craig Greenberg. And as we are ready to bring in Sean Bowdy, we're going to double box the man of the hour in here. It's good to see you, pal. I feel like we've talked all night. But the one thing I wanted to say, one thing that struck me about Craig Greenberg's soundbite there to David's question was, we will act with an intensity that the city has not seen in the past 12 years. How does that strike you?
Well, it strikes me as unsurprising based on some of the stuff we've heard him say in the past during this election. But I know, you know full and well that whenever David Mattingly asks you a question, those are the kind of answers that come out of your mouth. Tell me about what you just heard from Craig Greenberg and what you thought about it.
Well, everything we heard from him tonight was about coming together and about unity. That's what you would expect in a speech where you've just won a mayoral race. You do want people to come together because this city has got a lot of challenges facing it. First of all, how do you plan economic development when you're facing a possible national recession? How do you get people together to work on common goals after we went through such a traumatic time with the protests in this city? What do you do with the police department when the Justice Department weighs in and starts writing new rules for how work is done here in Louisville? So there's tremendous challenges ahead. He's not going to be able to do it alone. He's going to have to build a coalition that has a broad backing, a lot of different interests that are going to have to come to the table to get things done here. So that's the theme that we're hearing from Greenberg, is together, unity, and a new direction, as he keeps calling it. And you heard him in his words just a few minutes ago describing what the next 4 years, or what it's going to look like, the city's going to look like in 4 years in that new direction.
You know, it's been over 5 decades since Louisville has had a Republican mayor. This race, obviously, a lot more closely watched than maybe some of the ones we've had in the past. We've also had Morgan McGarvey here tonight, winning his congressional district pretty handily. But even in a race that we expected to be pretty close, the Greenberg-Dieruf race, it ends up being two big Democratic wins here at the Galt House tonight. What does that tell you about kind of where the city is moving forward and kind of their voting habits?
That just shows you what an outlier that Jefferson County is right now, that the Louisville Metro is now. This is where Democrats have to come to get good news, and they got a lot of it tonight. They have a new Democratic congressman. They have a new Democratic mayor. Andy Beshear was here, and Greenberg pledging his support to helping Andy Beshear get reelected. Jefferson County is the one that got Andy Beshear elected when he was elected the first time. So this is where Democrats come to win. And tonight, the voters of Jefferson County did not disappoint them.
Yeah, you know, when I look behind me, I can see Mayor-elect Greenberg taking pictures, big old smile on his face. I think it's safe to say that those that were in the room tonight pretty happy.
Oh, without a doubt. This was expected. And even though they knew that the Dieruf campaign ran strong, they were expecting a win when everybody came in this room tonight. They did not disappoint.
You had more than one chance, more than just tonight, to sit down and talk to him. Do you think what he said tonight echoes pretty much everything that you've heard from him in the past?
Oh, without a doubt. One of the things about Craig Greenberg is that he is relentlessly on message. Everything we've heard tonight, we've heard before. We're going to hear it again tomorrow. We're going to hear it a year from now. He has a message that is not going to go off the page, and that he ran a very disciplined campaign. He knew what he was going to say, and he only refined that message over the campaign. We're just going to have to watch and see how this is going to evolve. He was talking tonight. He didn't want to give us any specifics about what he specifically is going to do once he goes into office. He says that's the work on that's going to start tomorrow. So for tonight, he didn't want to get lost in the weeds, so to speak, and talking about issues. He was just letting tonight be what it was, a celebration.
Guys, did he say anything to the two of you?
Democratic mayor here in Louisville.
Did he say anything to you guys about the incident on Valentine's Day at all, and how that either changed the campaign or shaped what he did over the past 10 months?
David, you've talked to him much more than I have. I'll let you take this one.
I didn't hear the question.
He was wondering if you heard anything from him tonight about what happened around Valentine's Day, the shooting. Is that shaking him? Did he mention that at all today?
He did not mention it when he was on the podium. He did not mention it in the group interview that we had with him for about that 5 or 10 minutes there. He hasn't talked about it a lot since it happened, but we do know it was a critical point in his campaign after coming that close to being shot in his own campaign headquarters was traumatizing. And he talked about that a little bit earlier in the campaign. We know that he had to meet with his family. They had to make a conscious decision. Do we want to continue? And they made that decision. And apparently it was the right one, because here he is tonight.
Yeah, big win here for everyone that we were here to cover, and obviously McGarvey and Greenberg, and even one race for county clerk. I barely even heard a word of that, just because of how big these other races were, Nick.
For sure. I'm gonna ask you guys one more question before I let you go, just because they both talked about it. Dieruf said that he wasn't done and that he had work to do and that he wanted to be part of the city moving forward. And then, David, when you asked him some questions, he said that he wanted Dieruf to be part of the city some way, somehow. Just your reaction to that and what you think it says about these two men that were running against each other for the past year or so?
So both of these men obviously talking about their willingness to work with one another, Dieruf and Greenberg, of course. How do they move forward with this? How can Greenberg and Dieruf kind of put this race behind them and move Louisville forward together?
Well, it depends on their personalities. It depends on how committed they are to working together, how much they need each other. I don't know if they do. We're going to find that out in the coming months. Bill Dieruf has a long career as mayor of J-Town. He might have other plans now. We don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, I just think it's worth noting because Nick mentioned that Dieruf mentioned in his speech that he'd like to be involved in Greenberg's leadership moving forward. And Greenberg, I guess, when you were talking to him, mentioned his willingness to work with him. So it's got to be something, right?
Well, you have to give respect to anyone who wants to run for public office. Both of these guys were in it because they cared about the issues. They both had similar passion about making Louisville a better place to live. And it's hard to let those passions go. So if he's offering his help, I mean, we're taking him at his word and see where this goes.
Regardless of who you voted for tonight, I think we said this earlier, I don't think you could have voted for someone that didn't want to see Louisville move forward.
Very
so hopefully
fair.
if that is a plan of both of theirs, we can see something come out with some bipartisan work there, Nick.
Okay, my friends, wonderful job tonight. Thank you for everything. Go catch a breather before your 11 o'clock last shot.
Save me some newsroom pizza.
I promise that the next beverage is on me. Okay, fellas. I appreciate y'all. We'll see you.
Thanks, Nick.
Okay. David Mattingly and Sean Bowdy giving us one last bit of commentary for the night, and I appreciate them for it. Okay, Louisville has a new mayor. We talked about that. It is Craig Greenberg, and I do want to. We have the sound that we played. I don't know if people have kind of been in and out here, as we're now about 10 minutes until the final cut in and then eventually the 11 o'clock show. But I think it's important, right? I mean, the city hasn't had new leadership in how many years? And now there's a man who is new at the helm, very excited to be at the helm, and just talked to David minutes after he was elected mayor. So I feel like we should play that again. We should play that 2-minute clip and just hear from him. And then we'll do a quick roundup of everything and we'll sign off. So let's play that bite and then we'll move forward.
4 years from now, where are we going to be?
I hope we're a lot safer. Our kids have universal pre-K and have more opportunity regardless of the circumstances they're built into, that affordable housing is no longer an issue, that we've addressed our homeless crisis, that we're one of the most exciting, interesting, authentic, inclusive places to live. That's my vision for Louisville, and I think others across the entire city.
You've mentioned 15,000 units of affordable housing. Are you sticking to that right now in the end of your first term?
That is definitely the goal. I put out a lot of lofty goals. We need to strive to achieve those lofty goals to truly move Louisville forward in a new direction. We got here by working together, people in organized labor, so many people from the faith community, the business community, regardless of people where they lived and what they did, came together to make this victory happen. We're going to keep working together.
What's your message to people who did not vote for you today?
I still hear you. I hear your issues. I think we have a lot more in common than you might think. We all want improved public safety. We all want to address affordable housing. We all want a cleaner city. We all want our kids to be well educated. So let's find common ground and work together.
You said you were going to work with Bill Dieruf here. Can you explain to me what you guys discussed or how are you guys going to work together?
We had a wonderful phone call. I really appreciate Mayor Dieruf's call. And we will find ways. Mayor Dieruf has been involved in our community, in our state, in so many ways, through the League of Cities, through his leadership of J-Town. I know he still wants to continue to contribute to our city, and we will find ways to work together.
What's next?
Well, tonight is about celebrating, and tomorrow morning it's back to work. So you'll be hearing a lot more in the very near future.
You're continuing a Democratic tradition here in holding the mayor's office. How is your next 4 years going to be different than the last 12?
We will act with a sense of urgency to address these challenges in our city that the city has never seen. And I'm excited to talk about our plans, to introduce others who will be working with me. But tonight's about celebrating and inviting others to join the team to move Louisville forward.
Will violent crime go down under your administration?
I certainly hope so, and that's the plan and expectation. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
A sense of urgency the city has never seen. I think that is the quote of the night from Louisville's new mayor. How he'll make things different than the past 12. Being a Republican, being a Democrat, taking over for a Democrat, taking over for a Democrat. There's not been a Republican mayor in Louisville since 1969, and that trend will continue tonight. But I did think that was a very important soundbite. Sense of urgency the city has never seen. And we will leave Craig Greenberg's election with that tonight. Here's the election board as we take it full screen. These are the numbers. Closer race probably than a lot of people anticipated, but Greenberg goes out with about 15,000 more votes than Dieruf did. And so that's what it looks like as we kind of There are obviously some other candidates, but as I try and drag this along on my screen, it won't allow me to. But it's okay. I don't think necessarily we need to see them. But that's that. That wraps us up. I want to, in the next 5 minutes or so, run you through a bunch of stuff here. So hopefully we can strap in for the next 5 minutes, and we'll run through some of these races here, and then we'll sign off. And I'll thank everybody for hanging out with us for 3 hours or so. Okay, here we go. From Louisville's mayor to Kentucky Senate race, Rand Paul. That was the first decision that came down tonight. The first race that was called tonight was Rand Paul over Charles Booker. Rand Paul getting more than 60% of that vote. That race was called. Polls were closed at 6. Those results started rolling, trickling in. 7:20, boom, called, done. The other Senate race in Indiana, Todd Young, the incumbent, he wins re-election tonight with 60% of the vote himself, beating out 2 others. So that's how that looks tonight. These are still too close to call. The amendments, that is. Amendment 1, change legislative session, giving lawmakers the chance to call themselves in for a special session. Right now, no, with about 26,000 more votes, 51% of the vote. And that was the First Amendment. Second Amendment had to deal with abortion. And this was a bit of a confusing amendment. A lot of people said that this was confusing to them, and the wording may have been. But a vote for yes was a vote for pro-life. A vote for no was a vote for pro-choice. Right now, that is 53 to 47% no. And that is about 80% in across the state. So those are not official yet. Looking good for the no's, but not official yet. Okay, let's continue. Moving on to U.S. House District 3, right? That was the one we've been talking about all night. That's the one that affects a lot of Louisvillians. Morgan McGarvey over Stuart Ray tonight. That was that. And I want to show you, because Morgan continues the trend that John Yarmuth was on, of being the only congressman from the Kentucky conglomerate that was Democratic. The other 5, James Comer, Brett Guthrie, Thomas Massey, Harold Rogers, and Andy Barr, all winning as Republicans. Morgan McGarvey, the only Democrat in that 6. I take that away. Let's go to Indiana. Now, Indiana, all of them but 1 have gone final. Oh, excuse me, no, 2. All but 2 have gone final. So you can see there 5 Republicans and a Democrat winning there, still waiting, too close to call on District 1 and District 8. You can see that there. Okay, moving along now. Back to the big board. That's where we landed with Morgan McGarvey and Stuart Ray. Okay. Yep, that's good. This is a rundown of the other congressional districts. As I mentioned, Brett Guthrie, Thomas Massey, and Andy Barr. That is wrong, but Andy Barr will be winning re-election. Okay, some state house seats. You can just see these are probably not updated, so I'm going to skip over them. And we're going to move a little further down to the JCPS boards. These have now gone final. A couple of JCBS school board districts up for election tonight, and they are all returning incumbent candidates. First one, Board Chair Diane Porter. District 3, James Craig coming back. District 5, Linda Duncan coming back. And in District 6, Corey Schull coming back, winning re-election tonight. So that is 4 for 4, if you will, on the incumbents. Again, a piece of this JCPS race as we got down in the final weeks here and was interesting because there were some candidates, they were trying to flip the board, trying to flip those seats of the incumbents, all running on the same platform. None of them successful tonight because the board goes back to the incumbents. Okay, let's go to Louisville Metro Council. Okay, start with District 5. Donna Purvis wins re-election tonight over Quintez Brown. Quintez Brown receiving 712 votes. Significant in the fact that Quintez Brown is the man accused of shooting at Craig Greenberg in his campaign office on Valentine's Day. You heard David there talk about how Greenberg didn't mention that tonight, hasn't mentioned that much on the campaign trail. He addressed it really a couple of times at the very beginning, and that was that. Quintez Brown tonight losing to Donna Purvis. She wins re-election in District 5. District 7, Paula McCraney winning re-election as well, defeating 2 other candidates. She got 54% of the vote tonight. Andrew Owen, District 9, defeating Alexandra Martindale, 64% to 36%. District 9 important because that was the district that covers a lot of Crescent Hill, the Clifton area, Frankfort Avenue, if you will. If you've driven Frankfort Avenue in the past year or so, you know what's gone on Frankfort Avenue with all that construction. But Bill Hollander not running for re-election, important because a Democrat takes that seat. Okay, that's District 9. 13, Mark Fox loses his seat in Metro Council tonight by a 56% to 44%. District 13. Marcus Winkler in District 17. He wins re-election tonight with 56% of the vote in District 17. Couple of more. District 21, Betsy Rui. Nicole George does not run for re-election. That opens up that seat, and she takes it with 61% of the vote. And last but not least, District 25, Khalil Batchin. He gets 52% of the vote, beating the incumbent, Amy Holton Stewart, and taking a seat from the Democrats for the Republicans. And if anybody knows Khalil Batchin, you know that he owns Khalil's on Dixie. And he's a business owner in the city and cares very deeply about the South End and that Dixie Highway area. So we've had a chance to speak with him over the past couple of months about some of the things that he's done in the community, fundraisers that he's done. So he wins re-election tonight. Okay, that settles us here. We have to throw to our final cut-in. I just want to say thank you to everybody who joined the live stream and hung out with us for 3 hours or so. It's been a blast. Happy election night. And we've got more coverage coming on Wave, and we will see you in a couple of minutes.